Partners at Julio.
What you see is what you get. It's what you get.
Try.
What you see is what you get. It's what you get. I said what you see is what you get, my baby. It's what you get. And real guilty is the best thing yet.
Charlie at the Authentic Only Show.
Yeah.
Right on. Good. Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Joey C in the place to be. I got a big boom box and a new CD coming at you live from the GFY Studios with the AO Show, Authentic Only. Here today with Shabaka Leak.
For everybody who's just watching, my name is Giuseppe. This is a Chewbacca Leak, and this podcast it's brought to you by Bino.
Charlie Hickmott on the 1 and 2s, the steel wheels of fury over there doing the damn thing. I just wanted to give a quick note that Charlie is now accepting invitations for engineering and podcasting and all the things. You can reach him at Charlie at the Authentic Only Show. You're also on the Instagram. What's your Instagram thing? Charlie Hickmott?
At Charlie Hickmott, pretty much everywhere.
Nice. Pretty much everywhere. Even live in person. Look at you.
That's me.
Right on. Yeah, hit him up if you got some video needs and all the things. Yeah, do that. Or no, I'm not in charge. But also we have another social media type person in the house today. Today's guest, Kayla Anderson. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on.
Cheers. So, first thing I usually ask people, I missed it a couple times, but I don't want to get in the habit of describing people. So tell the people who you are and what you do.
Oh God, I hate that question.
Number one, check.
Well, if we're doing Authentic Only, I guess like long version or short version?
I got no time frame.
Okay.
We got another podcast at 6:30, so do whatever you got to do. Your version, your authentic version, please.
So I am the owner and founder of Riparian Media, which is a content creation and social media management, I guess like boutique studio agency, whatever term people want to use for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's me, and then I have a couple friends that I contract out to help out with it.
You got friends.
I do have friends.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right on.
No, huge game changer having friends. Makes life worth living, that's for sure.
Beautiful.
And yeah, so I have niched down into supporting socially responsible small businesses. And so like a couple clients like Kindred Homestead Supply, the Vancouver Farmers Market, and like telling their stories around like values-based messaging. And that's like what I'm doing now. The path to getting there was kind of like an interesting roller coaster, but it's really fun and enjoyable. And I actually look forward to waking up in the morning and doing what I do. So
Beautiful.
yeah, it's great.
Get to do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Nice. That sounds delightful. A lot of words in there I don't know, so I'm going to ask a lot of questions, which is good. That's what a conversation's about. Full transparency, it's the first time knowing, maybe not knowing what your business is, like the world of social media content creation. I don't do a whole lot of it. I do some Instagram for marketing or advertising for the pizza shop and GFY and whatnot, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm more of, there's two ways to sell. There's enthusiasm or indifference. You know, you'd be like, hey, really come buy my product. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Or I could be like, here it is, buy it or not. And that's kind of what I lean to. But I do the Instagram, and it's led to some things, maybe even a show. So we'll see. So I did a little bit of, I don't want to say research, but I asked Google a couple questions about social media and stuff like that. And something that's specific in the news right now, that whole, what is it even called? The Restrict Act? The TikTok bill?
Yeah.
If you want to get right into it, we can.
It's
But we could start there.
I have hot takes on that one.
I want all the hot take, the
okay.
fire takes.
Like the fire. I think it's fucking stupid.
Wow.
Like, the reason being, because, they're talking about national security issues this, national security issues that. We want to protect your data. It's like, okay, cool. If you want to protect our data, then you need to pass a sweeping data privacy bill and actually be looking at things like what is Instagram or Meta, the Meta family doing, what's Google doing, what's Bing doing, and also TikTok. It's not just a TikTok problem. And also, when we look at TikTok, you have so many small businesses that were able to even start selling products thanks to this platform.
You could sell through TikTok?
Oh, you can sell through TikTok.
Wow.
And then also with how, I wouldn't say easy it is to go viral on there, but it's definitely more accessible than platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Like, you have to really work for it on Instagram right now. And it's been like that for about 2 years, and it just seems to be getting worse. And then also the types of conversations that you can have on TikTok. So aside from my business, I do 2 other things. So I'm the co-founder of this organization called Climate Replay, where we are educating the gaming industry about sustainable practices and how they can make change and drive towards being like a greener future in gaming. And then I have my personal account called like I'm Bayla. It's a joke. A friend years ago was like, "Oh, Kayla's Bay. She's Bayla." I'm like, "I love that username. I wonder if it's taken," and it wasn't. And I do climate science communication, and for that I was recognized by Harvard CCHAN in 2021, or what is it, 2022? I think it was 2022.
You got a blue check mark and all that stuff? You fancy like that?
No.
That's what I know is a status symbol. Blue
Yeah,
check.
it's
You got a
like-
blue check mark?
I do not have a blue check.
No, that's cool. But you got Harvard cred. Look
Yeah,
at
I got
that.
Harvard cred. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. No, it was really cool. I was on the, what's it called? The first list of the inaugural list. Words that I read, but I never speak, so you
Right
know,
on.
butcher them.
Yeah, you said a bunch of them I don't know, so I'm going to ask about them.
No problem.
That's beautiful.
And I do climate science communication. And especially in that space, like my climate science content performs better on TikTok than it ever has on Instagram. And that's because if you look at the way that these platforms moderate their content, and especially with this year being an election year, Meta had come out saying that they're deprioritizing political content, and climate is unfortunately considered political content. And understandably so, why
the
they're
fuck?
doing that. Yeah. Climate science is political now. It's been that for a while, which
Uh-huh.
is another thing that's kind of infuriating. I guess, having clean water and clean air is like, I'm a raging communist for that. So I love it. It's so good. But yeah, and like those types of conversations aren't as throttled on TikTok. And especially when you look at big world news, like what's going on in the Gaza Strip. There are creators that I follow that are on the ground, and I'm able to see what exactly is happening. I cannot find that similar content on Instagram because it gets moderated. So we're able to have real conversations. There was a lot of organizing around like which brands to boycott, which led to apps getting developed so people can like join in on the boycott. Like when Kellogg's was telling people, everyone should just start eating cereal for dinner if you can't afford groceries.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I was like, dude, come on. So the world of TikTok was like, hey, fuck that guy. We're boycotting Kellogg's now. So then all this informational content was coming out of like, well, if you love this cereal, here's how you can make it at home. And it's arguably better for you because you have, less preservatives and like shelf-stable stuff and everything in it. And you can adjust your flavors however you want it to be. And then also buying the ingredients to make it is still cheaper than buying a box of cereal, depending on what cereal you're getting. So a lot of the conversations around it seem to be more so less about this is national security and we want to protect your data, and more, people are organizing, and it has directly impacted companies, and it has also directly impacted public opinion of how we view our relationship with Israel. And I don't want to get into that because I'm not an international political scientist. But there's a lot of stuff and conversation happening there. And then there was leaked audio a couple months ago of, I think it was I'm not sure if it was a senator or a Congress, like a House representative, was saying we have a TikTok problem because you have Gen Z that is now against Israel and we need to do something about it. And then a couple months later, we have the Restrict Act. So
Go figure.
go figure.
Hey, give them credit. They did something about it.
They did something, but it is a bit annoying to have 352 House representatives that the one thing they can agree on is throttling a social media app. Meanwhile, we still have all the gun violence and medical bill debt that's insane, and people can't afford houses and food and all those things. But we can agree on taking away the ticky-tacky, so.
When you say throttling, what does that mean?
I didn't use the textbook definition for throttling. so they...
As you see it, yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
can
with
feel free to
the
interpret, yeah.
bill, so what they want to do is TikTok either ByteDance needs to sell TikTok to a U.S.-based company, and then in which case, say if Google or Meta or whoever here gets it, then they can do whatever they want with it. Now, if Meta gets it, as we've already seen with Instagram and Facebook, how they're like, we're not going to prioritize political conversations on our platform, then the way that people use TikTok to get information in real time about what's happening is not going to be a thing anymore. Or if they fail to sell in 6 months, then it's just banned, like it's gone. How India had banned TikTok, then I think there was another country that had banned it, where you can't use it anymore.
Bangladesh? I don't know.
No, I think Bangladesh has it, because I have a couple of friends in Bangladesh, and I can send them TikTok videos.
Right on.
But I can't send my friends in Mumbai TikTok videos.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So throttling, distilling it down, and maybe using simple words, it's censorship.
Yeah.
So they could up-regulate posts they want or down-regulate posts that they don't want.
Yeah, and social media platforms already do this. It's just
Yes.
to what level are they going to do it? And if the reason for this bill is really coming down to we don't like that people are getting information about some very serious issues happening abroad, then it's like, no, we should know what's happening. And we should be advocating for our governments to, be better and not condone,
Good luck with that.
like,
You got to be better.
it's like, hey, we should probably be better and not kill civilians. What a concept.
We're military people either. Don't kill nobody.
Yeah, I would love it for world peace. Like, that'd be great. And a whole part of when we think of a more sustainable economy, like a Green New Deal, a lot of it comes down to demilitarization, because war is a massive environmental, has massive repercussions. Like, for example, like how a lot of olive trees are being chopped down in Gaza. And these like to have olive trees, they're typically passed down generation to generation. They're old and just beautiful, and they're just getting leveled. So, and if you look at Afghanistan, like how much deforestation there was, then you also have like all the oil dripping out of like tanks and ships and
Burn piles, military
burn piles, landmines, and then all like the shells that don't get picked up, raising, like all those things. So, a part of a greener, more equitable, and sustainable future is demilitarization. But, we're America. Like, that's a conversation that you can't really have.
Distilling that down even further, not only are we America, we're humans. There's been wars since, in the Christian Bible, the first of 4 people, one hit a guy in the head with a rock and killed him. That's warring,
Yeah.
There's going to be wars and rumors of wars until there isn't anymore. Demilitarization, that would be fucking lovely.
Yeah.
I think even the warriors, the ones that go there and fight, they would probably be the biggest proponent of that because they have seen the horrors of war.
Yeah, I grew up next to Camp Pendleton. And so lot of friends in the military, a lot of friends who had enlisted, several that I've lost because they were out in the Middle East before we pulled out. And the types of stories that you'd hear, it's like, why are we throwing money behind this? Like,
Defending the Constitution.
obviously. We need to bring freedom to all these other countries.
Are the
Clearly.
liberators.
And then we got to have space freedom because apparently we want to go to Mars. Doesn't make any sense.
Colonization.
Colonization.
It won't stop until it stops.
I mean, I think kind of like back on the climate thing, my favorite quote I had heard when someone was talking about supporting Mars colonization was like, okay, so, and this one person was an active climate denier. I forget which politician it was, but I saw it on Twitter when it was still called Twitter, like 2 years ago. But he was saying, like, yeah, I can't wait for us to go and colonize Mars and turn it into, like, a beautiful geoengineered version of Earth. And someone had responded, like, okay, so let's be clear. You think that human-caused climate change is a hoax, but you think we have the ability to completely terraform a dead planet. Make it make sense. And then the dude deleted his tweet because everyone was like, yeah, like, make it make sense. We're literally playing on easy mode right now. We should take care of what we have. And if we figure out how to take care of what we have, wouldn't that also be bigger incentive of, okay, well, now we can actually maintain a stable climate on Mars that we could live on? As if we're botching it here, we're just going to botch it there.
Learn from our mistakes, maybe?
Maybe, I don't know.
You think?
Like,
I don't know. That guy hit that other guy in the head with a rock and it hasn't stopped since.
yeah.
So, we'll see.
I mean, is it going to be easier to go to Mars, get there? It's a 4-year journey in space, 2 years, whatever it is. You get there, you have to build all the buildings. There's no infrastructure. There's nothing there. We already have at least a starting point here, but we're just like, nah.
You been to Mars?
I watched Red Planet, Joey. I don't know.
It's like watch.
Have you been to Mars?
No, I've not been to Mars.
I mean, you called it a dead planet. I ain't never been to Mars. Maybe there's all kinds of fucking shit there.
They found what, bacteria, plant life,
Oh,
No shit.
like little bacteria.
little tiny dead fossilized bacteria of life.
Oh.
And there's water, or at least ice. But
But it's a dead planet? And it's got water?
yeah, there's nothing alive there. Okay.
Have you been to fucking Mars?
You don't believe the rovers? There's been robots there. We sent stuff there.
I mean, do we
Okay.
count robots as alive?
Oh my goodness. I don't know where we go. Beautiful.
Do
Yeah.
they have a will to live?
I know. I've never been to Mars. I don't know what's there. I mean, it's a big fucking place too, right? You've been to every place on Mars? I mean, I've been to every place in Vancouver. You know, there could be, reefer fields. That Martian reefer. I don't know. But hey, sometimes you gotta have blind faith or whatever it is. It's a dead planet or there's fossilized bacteria or water. I don't know. I'm open to it.
But what I'm saying is it's easier to start doing damage control on Earth than try and pack it all up, send it to Mars.
Yeah, starting from scratch. And I mean, also the trillions of dollars it will take. I mean, if we're already like bitching and moaning about the current debt, like how much more debt are we going to go into to ship everything to Mars?
Wait, you'll find out soon. I mean, what's debt? Trillions of dollars. What, they just hit a button and then it's more trillions of dollars? Where is that actual transaction of funds, resources, whatever, coming from? Who gets that? How do you spend a fucking $1 trillion?
They're subsidizing
find out, right?
SpaceX.
I'm just saying, pay for the SpaceX? All right.
Because NASA subsidizes SpaceX
Yep.
to launch stuff. Anyway, I'm done.
No, it's good. I love it. I was like, Charlie's feeling it over here. He's jumping on the mic. It's beautiful.
No, I love it. And I mean, I could talk about space stuff like for a while. Like I was actually initially started as an aerospace engineering student.
Damn.
Yeah. I was just doing rocket science, big deal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, my whole vision was like I wanted to be a botanist on the space station. So just growing little plants on the space station. And I was 3 years into studying it, but my grandma fell ill and I was living with her at the time. So it was one of those, I had to pick between taking like 22 units a semester plus getting an internship lined up while taking care of my grandmother, or I can let all of that work give and, you know, be there for my family. So I chose to be there for my family. And I got my degree in East Asian Studies and Environmental Science and Policy. But yeah, so space stuff, it's like, I look at the current conversations and stuff that are happening, at least like the loud, annoying public conversations. I'm like, stop it. Like, just so frustrated.
You care. That's good. Nice. While we're on the TikTok, this is the one thing I had Charlie run down real quick. This is just a mutual homie, Dave. What is he? Hard dick warrior.
Soldier of God, man of the
Soldier of
people.
God, man of the people.
Nice.
Posted some white page stuff in his Instagram that I was like, yo, where's that from? And he was like, here. But there was a little break in a paragraph, maybe part of a paragraph, from the Restrict Act that he highlighted. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, here's the bill for XYZ, whatever. Everybody votes on it because it's a good thing. But buried 30 pages deep, we're going to drown 1,000 kittens a day. So this good thing happens, but these fucking terrible things happen on the back end.
Yeah.
And then this buried in it, what's the part? Yeah. Let's see.
It's kind of vague in this, but
Yeah, of course it's fucking vague, so you get more fucking play.
But essentially, it says any emerging information technology or information and communication technology that says could be a threat, specifically from foreign governments extracting data. It says, you know, the president can essentially say no.
The president can say that. And it spells out some things, and that means a website, a mobile app, a desktop app with like over 1 million users or something like that, perhaps. You know, I didn't read the whole thing. Again, I'm just taking chunks of it. You know, it's online. Everybody can get the information or not. But it was loose down there, playing whack-a-mole. Look at that. I don't even know what that is, but
What I find so funny about all of it is for how much the U.S. is like, China this, China that, China's this, China that. And then we look at this, it's like, so you just want to be like them. I mean, China has the most well-surveyed, like, massive surveillance programs everywhere. Internet is under control of the CCP, and education is, like, streamlined. Although, I do want to clarify, streamlined education is not a bad thing. Like, I think a lot of the issues in American society is because we don't have, like, a standard way that we're teaching history, or, like, the way that we're teaching even, like, basic English, and, like, how to write essays and how to communicate. Because, you know, you can go to a private Christian school and be taught nothing about evolutionary theory, and then you can't hold a conversation with someone who was taught evolutionary theory, and it creates, like, a divide. So if we're going to want to teach things, we want to, like, teach both or just have a better way of communicating about it. Because I know there are some people that are like, oh, streamlined education, like, what, you want to brainwash? And it's like, if we can't relate to each other, this is how we continue the divide, right?
do people relating to each other, does that distill down to the information that they possess and hold to be true? If you go to a Christian school and are taught nothing but creation, and I come from a place where streamlined education teaches solely evolution, and we can't have a conversation and perhaps be open to the other person, is that solely based on our information that we have? Or is there other factors that are playing in there?
I think it's the
being
way that it
empathetic
is
to,
taught.
and having the ability to listen to somebody when they speak, and being open to having your ideas change, being flexible and being malleable.
And I think that's a taught skill, is to be able, like,
Interesting.
empathy, I think. Now, I personally believe everyone is born inherently good. And And then just through situations of life, I mean, like you could have crappy parents. You could be born in a really crappy situation. And I mean, because, you have cases. There are some people born in really crappy situations, but they become empathetic because they're like, I'm never going to be like the people that raised me. But then you have people that don't and just become a direct carbon copy, right? But I think, like, how we've been seeing, funnily enough, like, more TikTok trends or, like, conversation around, like, more soft parenting and, like, Montessori and empowering children.
Montessori is parenting?
A type of, as a learning style and also type of parenting, it's both. So, like, Montessori is how you, like, empower children to, like, learn how to do things on their own from a young age. And it's kind of, like, mushed in with, like, soft parenting. Like, it's kind of, from my understanding from watching some of the TikTok videos, I'm never going to have children, but I find it, like, an interesting psychology thing of, like, oh, so if you raise children to be like, well, you're feeling a lot of feelings, let's, like, take a deep breath and have a conversation of, like, your outburst. And it's not going to work, 100% of the time, right? But sometimes it's like children, they just can't regulate. And so you create a place where they can regulate instead of being like, well, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. And you, like, spank your child, right? Instead of, if the first reaction is, I'm going to lay hands on my child or I'm going to yell at them, that's its own problem. I think the response of, let's try to figure out what's going on and help you communicate so I can meet your needs. But that does take more energy out of a parent. If they're not
And physically striking them?
intelligent.
Yeah, it's different energy.
Yeah.
I mean, chasing your kid down the block is energy.
Yeah.
Sitting down and have a conversation with them is energy.
And it's like, what happens if you have a parent that isn't emotionally available, right?
You become resilient, perhaps.
Resilient. And it's like maybe in their willingness to learn or to teach their child to be, like, emotionally intelligent, they themselves are going on an emotionally intelligent journey along with their child, and probably find healing all on their own too. But it's like, I wonder, how do we get more people to, like, find empathy and be willing to feel their feelings? And so, like, going way back, you mentioned, like, well, if someone was taught only creationism and someone was taught, like, Darwinism, and, like, what would prevent them from having conversation? It's like, well, if both hold to be true, like, well, the way I view the world is correct, and therefore you're wrong. Then conversation over, right? It becomes a debate. It becomes like, well, you're just fucking delusional, and you don't know anything, and I'm clearly know more. But if you've been taught critical thinking or, like, how to question things, even if you hold it true, to see someone else's perspective, then you can start having conversation, even if you disagree with them. But you can also learn something from disagreeing.
Absolutely.
Right? And I forget where exactly we were going with on that. But I was talking about CCP. Okay, so all the way back to the Restrict Act, how they're talking about, okay, well, we can monitor and remove websites and apps and anything that we deem a threat. And it's like, this is just like the CCP. So I find it ironic how the United States is like, we want to be a beacon of democracy and freedom and free speech, and we're nothing like the CCP, and literally everything that we are doing is moving in that direction. Like, we want to, if you look at the, was it the Patriot Act that was
That's a good
passed
place
after
to start.
9/11?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Patriot Act, and it's like, okay, cool, now we're starting to, like, hyper observe everything, and it gave the rights to start, I forget the specific terms they had used, but, just more surveillance. And
Surveillance
now,
is a good one to put. Yeah, I would say.
And now with this, like, the Restrict Act, more surveillance.
Do you not think there is a tremendous amount of surveillance in the United States already?
Oh, no, there totally is.
So us going more towards CCP, what's that? Chinese Communist Party? Okay. go more towards that, I mean, I think that's already here. I mean, we all have these pocket computers. They could find it, you know. There's millions of listening devices. If you ever talk to anybody in military intelligence or anything like that, it's like, oh, yeah, you want to find, you know, John Doe in the middle of a third world country?
Oh, you can totally.
Does
do
he have
it.
a phone? Does anybody near him have a phone? There he is.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that we aren't already doing it. So speaking from like a PR position is where I'm like,
Okay.
I find this ironic.
Yeah.
Because for the United States and, you know, all the presidential speeches, or, you know, even if we look at Mr. Donald Trump and how he's like, you know, look, China, like, we're the best, we're going to be the best. But then you look at the type of policies that government is supporting, and it's like we're just starting to mimic them if we haven't been already. It's kind of like just a mask off situation of like, no, like, we like what we're doing, and so like we like what they're doing, so we're gonna do it. And I'm like, guys, you can't say one thing then like do the other. Like, no wonder why
They can't?
I mean, they
That's what
can.
government is.
Yeah. But it's like, no wonder why the general public is fucking pissed. Like, why everyone on both sides is like, I don't trust what my representatives are doing. Or like, you know what, Jeff Jackson, he just had a hell of a past 72 or however many days it's been since they did the House vote for the Restrict Act. Because he's a politician in Congress who people didn't know who he was until he started creating TikTok videos, and it was just giving us like a calm, seemingly like bipartisan rundown of like, hey, here's what happened in Congress today, and like here's my thoughts on it, and like where we can go. And so his career and the fact that he qualified for the primary to be the attorney general in his state was thanks to TikTok. And then he votes yes on the Restrict Act. And so everyone was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, your whole career is thanks to us and this platform. And then you vote yes, and then you come on TikTok and open your video up with, I don't think TikTok's gonna be banned. Even though you voted yes for it.
Even though you voted for it, yeah.
And so it's like, what is happening? So he's lost like, I think he was at 2.5 million followers, and now he's at like 2.3, and it's just still going down.
So politicians said one thing and then did another thing?
Who would have thought? Well,
Go figure.
Yeah, and if you look at like everyone that voted yes, the majority of them took IPAC money. It's like, okay, cool. We see. Lobbying should just not be a thing, in my humble opinion. It causes a lot of problems, but, you know.
I wouldn't consider any of that a hot take. That was eloquent and beautiful. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Whose bit was that politicians should have to wear, like, be like NASCAR? You wear your sponsors on your suit?
Yes, I mean, they should.
Yeah, right?
But
I mean, it's not like we don't know who they are right now. You can find it anywhere. But
totally.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if me as a content creator, if Liquid Death, hashtag not sponsored, this video is not sponsored by Liquid Death.
Yet.
But if like, please sponsor.
Yeah.
But if I was doing a TikTok video, and even if I just casually had it sitting here, and if they paid me to have it be in my video, even if I'm not talking about it, I'm not bringing attention, it's just a product placement, I still have to disclose that it is an ad. Our politicians don't have to disclose shit. Like, if you know where to look, if you go on like Open Source or Open Secrets,
Ooh.
Open Secrets, great website.
Ooh.
You can.
Don't mistype that, Charlie. I want to see some kind of secrets pop up that are whatever.
I was like, whoops, now we're on OnlyFans.
Oh, Illuminating the Darkness.
Yeah.
Open Secrets.
So it's a great site.
Well,
And then you also have things like Ground News, which is a better news site now because they pull news articles from everywhere and then shows you like, well, Fox News is primarily funded by these people, CNN's primarily funded by these people, and so you can compare and contrast what's being reported, which is great. So, but you have to know that these things exist and then have the time and willingness to go out of your way to like do the research, which a lot of Americans like don't, right? The average American is living paycheck to paycheck, can't afford a $400 expense or emergency expense And a lot of the conversations that you see across the internet, like for the average American, is like, we're hungry, we're struggling, we're stressed the fuck out, everyone's getting laid off, I'm afraid, how do I take care of my children, are my kids gonna come home today, I'm drowning in medical debt because I took care of family. Like, it's not a good look. But we can get 352 people to agree to ban the tiki-taki, so.
I can dig it. Right on.
Joe Biden just started a TikTok account in January,
Yeah.
and he was posting stuff around the Super Bowl. It was all very stupid and whatever. But
That's the president you're speaking about.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, your TikToks are lame. But it just seems
That's a hot take.
it just seems weird that he would do that now, and then he's like, well, as soon if it hits my desk, I'll sign it. You know, just like all your followers, Mr. President.
Yeah. What about your internet clout, Mr. President?
It's a big thing in some spaces.
Okay.
Internet clout.
It really is.
I could dig it. Cool. I think we beat that one a little bit. That was good.
Thank you.
You being active in that space, it's cool to get your perspective. When I met you over at Melt, I was like, we should probably be good on the podcast. I went back and talked to Sherry Ann about you a little bit. She was like, oh, she's sharp as a tack. I'd be interested in what she had to say. And I told her, I was like, it's the first time I looked up something about the TikTok thing. And she was like, ooh, I want to know about that too. So we'll have at least 3 solid views on this one.
Awesome.
Right on. Cool. Something you said when you were describing Riparian Media, when you were talking about these small businesses or companies you work with, socially responsible is what you said. Can you define what that means to you by a socially responsible business company?
Yeah. So where do I start? So socially responsible to me is looking at, like, is this like company or organization working in the benefit of or working towards like a greater good? And specifically for me, it's like looking through like an intersectional environmentalist lens. So like a company doesn't have to just be like, we're a climate company and we're gonna like remove carbon, although like carbon removal, capture and removal is a whole like thing I could vent about. So it's not just climate tech, right? Like if we look at what needs to happen in order for us to have like a green future, people need to be able to afford to live. They need to be able to have access to healthy food. So food deserts need to be eradicated. There's a case to be made about potentially a universal basic income. We're also looking at was like the wage gap and also diversity, equity, and inclusion. Not just for race, but it's like race, gender, ability, so like disability and ability, and all these things. So the way I'm looking at social responsibility is this organization, so like the Farmers Market, for example, they are really passionate about food access and making sure that people have access to healthy, nutritious foods. And then you also have amazing artisans there as well. So it's supporting small business community. And if we look at like Vancouver and the way it's developing, the Farmers Market has also become a third place where people can just meet and they don't have to spend money to participate in community. Like you can go there and just meet your friends and while they're shopping, or you just go and be like, let's just hang out at the Farmers Market. And there's no obligation that if you spend time here, you have to spend money. Like if you go to a cafe, it's one of those like, well, I'm gonna like be working here, I should probably like have a coffee, and you know, there's that kind of like pressure. There's a company I support out of San Francisco, and they're all about trust and safety in the gaming space and making sure that games are built with better moderation tools, so that way like
Online games?
Online games.
Okay.
So, you know, like slurs and hijacking people's games to just troll them and everything aren't a thing. And I would classify that as socially responsible because it's like, yeah, they're trying to make the gaming experience better. And also the owner has a background in environmental science, and she's written a couple books about it, her studies, and she's so lovely to talk to. So it's great, like, seeing how she's taking, like, all these concepts that she learned in environmental research and now applying it into the gaming industry, kind of similar to Climate Replay. And it's like, how do we protect players, not just children, from, getting like groomed on the internet and
Groomed?
groomed.
Oh, groomed. Oh,
Groomed, yeah, on
okay.
the internet. Like mitigating that, or even just straight up preventing it from happening. Better moderation tools and all that fun stuff. And so I would say that's socially responsible. So it's looking at, like, are they doing this to make the world better, or are they doing it just to increase shareholder value? And if it's just, we're here to make money and make our shareholders happy, I don't think those types of companies should be in business anymore. It's the 21st century, and if you look at all of the interviews for, like, millennials and Gen Z, so, like, the next generation of C-levels executives, and why is there even a brain drain happening in Washington State, or, like, the United States at large, where people are struggling to find talent in, like, economic development, because I worked for a year and a half at the Columbia River Economic Development Council. I was their events and marketing manager. And the conversation around how do we encourage people to go to school and work and participate in the economy. A lot of interviews for college students, they're like, well, I want to feel like I'm doing something good. If I'm just going to be another cog in the machine, then why the fuck would I work for this company? Like, it's not fulfilling. And, say if you're working for someone like Vanguard or BlackRock, that's just here, like, world domination, right? Like, that doesn't feel very good.
Is that their tagline? BlackRock, world domination.
I mean, probably.
Right on.
Like,
Right on.
but you can have that in smaller companies too, where it's like, we're just here to, like, make money and we don't care how we do it. And it's like, well, why would I work for you then? I want a better future, especially, like, I'm going to be 28 this year. And when I look...
Congratulations.
Thank you. Didn't think I'd be here, but, it's great. I'm glad that I am.
Right on.
But looking at, like, just the events that I've lived through so far, like, I remember 9/11. I saw it on TV. That was, like, one of my early childhood memories. 2008, how that impacted my family, and pandemic.
What was
Or
2008?
that-
Sorry if I missed that one.
Oh, that was the housing market.
Okay.
Like the housing crash, I think.
Right.
And then was, like, all the racism and gnarly stuff that happened when Obama got elected, and then, we got Trump as the response, and that was wild. And then the pandemic, and now 2 international wars.
Just 2?
Is it just 2? I know, or at least the big ones. It's like Russia and Ukraine, then Israel and Gaza.
Okay.
I'm sure there's more. There's always, like,
Yeah.
but those are, like, the 2
will
ones that
always
are,
be
like,
war.
those are the
Yeah.
headlines.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the 2 headlining wars.
Congo.
Exactly. 2 headlining wars, yes. The main card, we still have undercard wars.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you look at rising cost of housing and wages not keeping up, and a lot of my friends ending up in, student loan debt. And it's just the outlook of life growing up has been, like, one crisis after the other, after the other, after the other. And now I'm 28, or going to be 28, and it's like, by this time, at least the way I was, like, raised in the conversations that were happening around me, it's like, oh, by the time you're 28, you should be, like, settled into the job you're going to be at for the rest of your life, and set up your 401k, and you'll have a house, and you'll be married, and you'll have children, like, like the classic American dream. And I'm looking at it like, y'all, I'm spending $1,000 on groceries for 2 people. Like, and we use all of our food. When am I gonna buy a house?
Yeah.
Like, my partner's in commercial real estate, and he's even like, I don't even fucking know if we'll be able to buy a house. Like, and then there's also the conversation of, do we even want to have a house? Because, I mean, all the expenses that go into it, like, if something breaks, then you're in charge of it or you have to pay a contractor to come and take care of it. Whereas renting in an apartment right now was great for us. Like, oh, dishwasher broke. We just call someone and it's all free and taken care of, which is like really nice. So
It has a cost. It's not free. It's
Yeah.
built into the rent, perhaps. But please continue. Yeah.
But it, like, you know, if they replace it, it's not like they tack on that cost on top of our rent. It's like our expenses are pretty. The amount we spend is kind of like reliable. We can like budget around
fixed
it.
costs. Yeah. We call it in business fixed costs. We have
There you go,
this.
fixed costs. Whereas like if we buy a house and like if something happens, like, oh shit, that's like a $10,000 HVAC thing, and well, I guess we're just not gonna have like HVAC, those types of things. So, but yeah, so socially responsible. It's just, is this organization or company, even if they're for profit, what are they doing to benefit society? So like I did some work for Richland Hub for a little bit. They were like actually my third client when I was still at my day job. Once they came on, I was able to quit my day job. So it was like super awesome. But they're for profit, and a percentage of all of their like revenue, percentage of all of their monies is going towards building medical clinics in Tanzania. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, they care about making money, but they also care about supporting the community of farmers that is helping them be in business. So I would say that's socially responsible.
Okay, check to that then. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They donate supposedly a lot of money to stuff that would be considered socially responsible, yeah? But do you want to support them because of Microsoft or anything else they do? Where's the line?
I think there's a difference between donating to a cause and actively participating in it. It's like with Richland Hub, they're actively participating in building those medical clinics. Like Bonnie has made the connections in Tanzania. He goes out there and is visiting and is like, okay, what do you need? Having these conversations.
But Bill and Melinda Gates didn't. They didn't go to Africa and be like, hey, you need wells? Here's $1 trillion. I got enough money.
Yeah.
I could come and see it, and like somebody else go do it. You know, Richland Hub guy goes there. He's a little bit more active. Doesn't have all the resources that other people have, so he has to be a little more hands-on.
Yeah.
Your HVAC breaks. You don't know how to fix it. You got to pay somebody to do it. You know,
Yeah.
kind of the same. Or if you got that fuck you money, it's like, yeah, fucking fix the HVAC.
Oh, to have fuck you money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I'm not 100% sure how to answer that one, because on one hand, it's like Bill and Melinda Gates and their foundation, like they are donating to good causes.
I don't even know what they donate to. I just pick them.
Yeah. I mean, to my understanding, oh, I got it.
Yeah, if you make $1 bajillion, you got to donate some of them to get tax breaks. That's the perspective I see from it.
Yeah. So what do we got up here? We're doing.
What do you got up here, Charlie?
This is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation talking about their work. I know they've done a lot of stuff specifically around like preventable diseases, like trying to prevent malaria, which is responsible for a lot of deaths. And that's a lot of the stuff they did early on. I don't know exactly what they're doing now, but you can see where they're.
Are they still together?
They're not. I mean, it's called the Gates Foundation now. They're divorced, but
That's unfortunate.
they still put $1 billion into a company that stays there. I guess.
Did she get her half?
I don't know.
Bezos' wife got a gajillion dollars.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Like, good for her.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, so I think it'd be one of those, if I were to take like a really big client, like say the Gates Foundation, I'd be asking questions of like, do you have, like, can I actually see the impact? And also like, who is supporting this?
Here's an extra $1 million.
Like, like where'd the $1 million come from? Like, where'd these like
No.
things? Or
Like, you ask that question and be like, this is our answer to that question. Here's an extra $1 million on top of what we agreed to. Do you look the other way and be like, eh?
No.
No?
No,
What's the price?
none.
No.
And like, I not just.
I normally like to speak in
Yeah, it's like not
Hypothetical
just like saying that to be
situations, yeah.
like, oh, like I'm better than, like not at all, but it's like,
what your HVAC breaks down, you need an extra 10 large. You know, XYZ company over here whatever view you have on socially responsible, it's real close, but I need my fucking HVAC fixed. You know what? I'm going to take this one. Again, hypothetical, you don't even have to answer that.
I'm trying to even think, how would HVAC even be socially responsible? So I guess it'd be
You
like,
don't
are
need
they
it.
paying
It's a
their
luxury. You
employees
don't- you
livable
don't-
wages?
You don't even, like personally, your HVAC fixer at your house, like
Oh,
you
yeah,
were saying
yeah.
before, and you could take you don't have the funds for it. You have this potential gig that is borderline socially responsible or not, but it's for
Oh,
the
that's
money. You're
the
like,
thing.
fuck it, I need that money to fix my HVAC. Would I take that gig because they're borderline?
Well, I mean, it would have to be like, how are we defining borderline? Because I mean, like, there's
Whatever you
like,
define it as borderline.
Yeah, because I mean, like, we could even like argue that my client in San Francisco is like borderline, right? Like, however,
I wasn't going to argue it, but
yeah,
I
like
thought
talking
it.
with the whole team and like why they're actually doing this, and a couple people that they've turned away because of the direction that they want to be going. I was like, okay, you're sticking to your values and what you care about.
That's one perspective to look at it.
So if there was a client that was borderline, and it's like, okay, well, you know, are you actually doing what you can in this capitalist society to mitigate the damages of whatever industry that you're in? Or is it just one of those like, we say this is what we're doing, but like I don't really have any evidence to back it up? Then it's like, well, I'm not going to jeopardize my brand in that way. Like you see a lot of creators or companies that eventually, sell out. And I mean, I'm of the mindset of like, I don't even think I'm going to be able to fucking retire. The world's going to shit. Like my get out of Dodge plan is I'm going to go raise endangered goats in Iceland and create YouTube videos. So like
That is very niche. I love that.
And it's like,
I got an Iceland Connect in case you need one.
oh, that would be amazing. I really want to go do like the road tripping around
Around the volcano type stuff? Yeah, I hear that's fucking
especially
beautiful.
during midsummer.
Whenever it's not volcanoing.
I want to see the volcano.
Okay.
I love
do what
that
you gotta
stuff.
do, crazy person.
That I mean, I also want to go tornado chasing.
Okie dokie.
Oh, hit a reed timmer.
Right on.
But I'm kind of in this, or like currently my mindset is like, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to retire. Like if I make enough just to get by, like I'm happy. If I make more than that and then I'm able to do good with that money, I'm even happier. Like I'm in the position where I can afford a matcha latte every day from Terrain
With oat milk, right?
with oat milk. Yes, no sweetener. And initially I was like, oh man, is this like lifestyle creep? Like beating myself up for buying a fucking matcha. And total tangent here right now. So I just finished reading this book called Financial Feminist by Tori Dunlap. She's amazing. But she talks about how like anyone that's not like a cis white man, like not shaming or anything, but just like is kind of set up at a
That means
disadvantage.
Besides white man. What's the cis part mean?
Straight white man. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, is kind of set up or disadvantaged in American society, right? If you look
She
at,
said that?
a lot of people say that. If you're not,
A straight white man is disadvantaged?
oh no, if you're not a straight
if
white
you're
man,
not.
yeah, if you're not a straight white man, you're kind of
So-
starting off like 1 foot behind the starting line, right? And so it's just a much more wholesome read than like, shit, what's his name? I even forget. I haven't like read his books.
A white
forever.
woman wrote this book?
Yes.
Right on.
What's that name of the? He's like old school financial dude.
Warren Buffett.
Not Warren Buffett. No, like he wrote like financial advice books. It wasn't Warren Buffett.
Donald Trump.
Not Donald Trump.
Millard Fillmore.
Not Millard Fillmore. Oh, geez.
Henry Kissinger.
No, he was the guy that was talking about like number one is like always make sure like you pay off your debts and like use cash instead of like card and stuff.
That sounds good.
I like the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy.
No, I don't think it's
Poisner?
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Pull that, what's the guy's name? Pull that up. I know who you're thinking about. Bachagaloop. No, it's not Bachagaloop.
Taco Batat?
No.
but similar.
Oh, this guy.
Not that guy. Oh, I forget his name, but basically, a much more like intersectional view of finances rather than just like if you have debt, you fucking failed, and you have to like cut all of your expenses, and figure it out. Whereas Tori was talking about like, well, my brain just stopped. I got excited. Okay, like
Turn it off and turn it back on
yeah,
again.
just like okay, reset.
There you go. Got it.
Need to get the what Elon Musk like Neuralink thing. Like, hey, I need to just factory reset my brain.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
But in it, she was just talking about how, like, she started like doing research on like financial literacy because one, like her parents raised her to be financially literate, but also like as a woman, like when she was trying to learn how to invest, anytime she would like Google like investing advice, it was always catered to men. Like all the news articles and blogs were like, oh, like here's how to like build up your wealth and how to invest and ensure financial stability as a man. And then any financial advice blogs for women, more than I think she said like 80% of them was about like, oh, just like shop less, cut your expenses.
Who's writing those articles? Is it the same people?
Just like if you were to like Google like financial advice for women, a lot of like the themes are just spend less money. And then for men, it's like, here's like how to invest and what like savings accounts or like stocks to invest in.
It seems weird that they would even distill it down like that. If you want to learn how to financially invest, why would you even put for a woman or for a man or for whomever? Distill it down and get all the information and take what you want out of it.
Yeah.
This is how much I make. I want to learn how to do something with it. Doesn't matter if you're a purple people eater from a dead planet of Mars. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Investing is investing, no matter what gender, sex, whatever. Oof, I don't want to get fucking smashed for that, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
financial
I
advice
get
is
what you're
financial
putting
advice,
down.
yeah.
Financial advice is financial advice, but it's also like the way it's communicated. And so like a lot of women aren't taught like financial literacy.
And I'm a dude, I was never taught it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Americans aren't taught financial
There
literacy,
you
and
go.
that's the whole thing we
Boom.
go down.
Distill it down.
So distill it down. But it was like an interesting experiment she had mentioned of like, well, if you search financial advice for women, it's how not to spend money. If you search financial advice for men, it's here's how to invest. And she was like, why is the stigma, like the majority of articles written for women, stop spending money? And also like growing up, like I remember it'd be like, oh, like I'd buy this nice thing for myself and being told like, oh, well, like watch your money. Meanwhile, I would see like my guy friends who were like out buying like nice whiskeys and nice cigars. And that's not considered frivolous. But if I'm buying a latte, that's frivolous.
I mean, who's considering that, though? I would consider that frivolous.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying consumables.
Yeah.
Whiskey, if you're putting it on a shelf and it's going to make $10,000 in 5 years, then you're doing
Probably
it
not
as an
frivolous.
whatever.
That's an investment,
Then it's an investment. You know, if you did the same thing with that latte and it appreciates some value and you could sell it for more, that's investment, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Man, woman, fucking product don't matter.
So if you want a house, stop buying avocado toast. Yeah, like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
stuff like that,
Right
right? Like,
Avocados, the new currency.
avocados, though. I mean, delicious, but yeah, they're clearly the reason why I'll never be rich. But anyway, so there was just like some of that like guilt, like the narrative I was told, like in the circles I was in and about like surrounding money was like, well, if you're buying like little nice things for yourself, like that's a frivolous expense, and like this is the reason why you're not going to be like successful. You're not going to be like have money saved away. And so when I got to the point where I could afford a matcha latte every day, I was like, I feel so fucking guilty, and so like I'm lifestyle creeping into oblivion. Until like I had a conversation with my friend Dave, and this was like last year. And he called me up just to check in. He's kind of like a pseudo mentor, because he's in like SEO land, but I'm in social media, so like search engine optimization is like
Oh, I was just
Google
saying,
and all that
I
stuff.
I've never heard of that country.
Oh no, no. SEO, so like search engine optimization.
Okay.
And he's like, oh yeah, so like how's the business going? I'm like, I mean, it's going well. He's like, okay, and I'm like, no, and he's like, I mean, you still in your same apartment and stuff? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I mean, I was expecting you to say that you bought like a new car or some shit. and is like glad that you're not like, you know, just spending all your money. It's like, no, like I'm content. I don't need a new car. My rich bitch like vision is to never have to drive a car again. I want to live in a country that has trains and buses and public transit.
You do.
I do. Currently planning to move to Sweden.
I mean, you live in a country that has buses and planes and trains.
Reliable public transportation.
Okay.
I'll put the keyword
A
there.
plane that the door doesn't blow off when you're halfway, 30,000 feet.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean,
Did you see that?
Boeing
I'll pull that up. But they found they had used Dawn dish soap for door plugs on planes.
No.
Like instead of like a glue or sealant, they used dish soap.
So
Anyway,
I'm not a fucking airplane mechanic. I fixed a couple things or something. I don't know if they used it as a sealant, but as a way of checking a seal for leaks using a detergent that bubbles. You could see where a bubble. You could do it like so. You ever get your tire fixed or something like that? Little key cards, but like you get a flat in your tire. You want to know where the leak is. You put it in this water and it bubbles from there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't read the thing. I know that though. Dish soap. Yeah.
That's insane.
A hotel key card, if that's a fucking tool that gets the job done, it's probably not OSHA approved, And yeah, a door blew off and there's a bunch of stuff going on about that, but...
Then you had, another Boeing plane that caught fire. The 78, it's the 787s, right? Yeah, that is just having a whole bunch of problems. But yeah, no, reliable public transportation though. So I've been to Italy, so Milan, Italy, Stockholm, Sweden, and then several cities or districts in Japan, so like Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Kobe. I still want to go to Hokkaido to drink Sapporo in Sapporo. That's a bucket list item. And when you look at the way that cities are developed abroad, it becomes harder and harder to come back to the United States. Like when we were in Italy last year, it was one of those like, I don't think I'm going to come back.
You're in fucking Italy.
like-
Of course you don't want to come back.
Yeah, I mean the food is so good.
I mean,
Like-
next question. The food.
Yeah,
Yes.
the food. Unfortunately, everyone
Beautiful fucking Italian people speaking a beautiful language.
yeah, they
Just
smoke a
saying.
lot of cigarettes. So like every time we went outside, I was just like, oh, I can't do this.
Some Nona
Like,
could
it's
fucking
just-
ash her
even
cigaretto
Japan,
in my
too.
fucking pasta. I'm still going to eat it. I don't give a fuck. She could have it hanging out of her mouth while she's fucking tossing the dough.
Oh,
I'll eat it. I don't give
goodness. Yeah, no, it was kind of like rough though, waking up at like 7 a.m. and the first thing you smell is just cigarette smoke. I'm like, I'm not a fan of that. So love to visit, but living would be a little bit like rough. I'm not a huge fan of the smell. But yeah, so like anytime we come back, it's just like, oh, we don't really have like, third places like we have Esther Short Park, but really throughout the year, how often is it used? Like when
The sunshine is out.
when the sunshine is out. But even still, like how many people are really there? And is it like people are relaxing? Are they just going through? Whereas when you look at third places abroad, like so when we were in Milan, people are just out. Like they're just outside lounging about, like reading a book at the park or just sitting on their lunch break out here. And like I don't see that happening here, at least to like a similar scale that it would be. Then, like, granted, there's like population, right? We're looking at different numbers for different cities, but just observing people's behavior, it seems like when people are going in and out of Esther Short Park, it's more like I'm here for a moment and then I'm like leaving, and not like I'm here for like an hour and I'm hanging out, and it's just like being able to slow down, like the culture of slowing down and being present is not American. It's very for some, like, but more like hustle culture, and like if I'm not doing something, like, oh, I'm losing money if I'm not like reading a nonfiction book, and I'm not being productive if I'm not reading a new habits or business book. And like feeling guilty if I'm gonna go and read like Sarah J. Maas, like fairies and magic and all that stuff. Ooh, what are we pulling up here?
So this is speaking of this. This is Aspern Seestadt in Vienna, which I'm so excited to visit. But it's a new development that's they've been working on for like 10 years, and they put up all these buildings, and they made a man-made lake, and then they purposely made a beach area so that people could go and it's got businesses, apartments, and a place to relax in the middle of the city. So they have amazing socialized housing in Vienna. But this is kind of part of that. But anyway, just to speak to that kind of culture of there's public transportation to get to the city. There's public areas all over the city, and they purposely designed it that way to have an area to stop and relax. So.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And I mean, growing up in Southern California, like you have to drive to do anything. So, like, you have to drive to the grocery store, you have to drive to the gym, you have to drive to see your friends, you have to drive to go to school, you have to drive to go to work.
You don't have to.
Like, I mean, if you're going to get there...
You take your scooter, you take public transportation, right?
Oh, I can take my bike and ride it 45 minutes one way to go to the grocery store. That's not...
Time.
So, yeah, the time investment. And so that's when I get into, like, reliable public transportation and also, like, people-centered infrastructure.
How long has that short park been there? Since the city's been around, right? So they have built a space.
Oh, yeah, like downtown Vancouver is doing great. Like, that's why we live
Central
like here
Park.
downtown.
I lived in Brooklyn. You go to the fucking park when the sun's out. There's a fucking gajillion people there, flying kites, laying out half-ass naked, people busking, doing all the things. San Francisco, Golden Gate Park.
Yeah.
You can go over here. There's a fucking fancy museum. There's all kinds of stuff. If I need a little reefer, I can go in that tunnel over there. And make yo, and people come out with reefer.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people utilizing that space. These spaces are available.
But are they actually available, though?
Yes.
So, like, they're available to downtown. Like, Esther Short Park is easily accessible to those downtown. When I lived over by the Vancouver Mall, if I wanted to go and relax somewhere, if I wanted to hang out at Esther Short, I have to drive.
Find a closer park.
That's
It's not as
like,
good.
I mean,
Like, yeah,
not
I
the
mean,
ones
it's
by
like-
Vancouver Mall. No.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
not as
I don't
good.
know.
Like,
I
are they
mean,
safe?
I'm just saying.
Like, no, like, we played, like, fireworks or gunshots over by Vancouver Mall when we lived over there. Like,
Okay.
do you want to go to that park?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's where, like, when we were in Stockholm, so we're planning to move to Sweden in 2026. I have, like, 10 friends that work at Minecraft, and there's actually a master's
Work
degree.
at Minecraft.
Work at Mojang. So Mojang is a Swedish company.
Okay.
And so when we visited them in 2022, I got to go to Mojang's Stockholm office, and I'm like, this is so awesome.
Nice.
Like, it's super great. But also, like, the work culture, though. So I've learned about Fika, which is it's just taking a break at work. But it's like you leave the office and you have, like, coffee and pastries, and it's like a time to hang out with your coworkers. You actually, when you have
Is
lunch.
that what they call it? Fika?
Fika, yeah.
Right on. I mean,
It's
in-
like- it's
in
kinda like a
Italian, they call
tea
it-
and biscuit time in, like, the
In
UK,
Italian,
yeah.
they call it riposo. In Spanish, they call it.
Siesta. Yeah.
Everybody has it. America, they call it what? Coffee break?
Yeah, but you go individually. I mean,
Yeah.
in a kitchen, you walk outside, right? You take a cigarette out back.
And also coffee break here, it's not like you have your coffee and you go back to work, right? It's not like a communal, like you're with community conversation. Or like a lot of friends that I have that work at 9 to 5, it's like, oh, well, I just eat my lunch at my desk and I keep working.
It's a
You
choice.
do that shit in
It's a choice.
Europe, like people look at you weird. It's like, what are you doing? Or like, in Italy, a lunch break? That's 2 hours. Like my friend Rob, he's a power engineer. He works on like wind turbines and nuclear power plants and writes research papers for fun. Amazing guy. And so that's who we visited in Italy. And he was just talking about like, yeah, like if lunch is less than an hour, like what are you doing? Like, because you're supposed to like sit and enjoy the food and have conversation. It's not like I'm gonna go and inhale my food and I have to get back, otherwise my boss is gonna fire me for being 5 minutes late coming back from lunch. It's like no, like it's just this cultural idea of enjoy the time with your community, with your family, like colleagues, whoever, because you do better work by actively resting rather than like burning yourself out, which is more so the attitude here. And a lot of people, like I'm privileged to run my own company to where I can have 2-hour lunches. I can do Fika. I If I want to do a half day, I can do that because I control my time. When I was working in customer service or retail or even at my previous 9 to 5 or the startup I worked at in San Francisco, the attitude was like, you need to be here, and you had to ask permission to take breaks, permission to take lunch, permission to use PTO, and it could be like not approved. Whereas like the attitude in Europe is like, oh, like no, PTO is just let us know, and like you have to take it. And like my friends in Sweden, they get a whole month off of PTO, which is insane. The most I ever had, I think, was what, like 15 days, and your sick time comes out of that bucket. Whereas in Sweden, you have your PTO bucket, you just have unlimited sick days, because it's like if you're sick, you're sick, you're not coming in. So it's just the cultural, it makes more sense to me. And so in my like wealthy vision for myself, it's like I don't have to have a car because I can take public transit wherever I need to go. If I get sick, I'm not going to go into crippling debt. And I'm not like, well, I guess I'm going to go serve food when I'm like have fucking COVID, right? Or something like that. Like when I worked in restaurants, like there was time where I had the flu and my manager was like, well, you still have to come in. We can't cover your shift. It's like, you want me actively with the flu to serve people food.
Happens every day.
Like, that's insane. Like, and yeah, so there's just a bunch of stuff. Like, now that I know too much. I have friends in India and Bangladesh and Japan and Australia and New Zealand and Germany and Italy and Sweden and Norway and Finland.
I don't even have that many
and
friends.
Ireland, like, and I have family in South Africa and Utah and California and Arizona, friends in Florida. And so like being able to have like conversations about like the world essentially, I'm just like, fuck, what are we doing? Like, seriously, like, what are we doing here? Why, like, there's all this evidence to show, like, if we want a better society, or arguably, if we're gonna go on the capitalistic conversation, a more productive society, let people fucking rest. Like, pay them a living wage and let them rest. And your profits will, explode. The 4-day work week program that they tried in, I think it was the UK, or Norway, or both.
I mean, people have been doing it in America, too.
Yeah, and like the results of the 4-day work week shows that, oh, people are happier, they have less turnover, and the work is better. So like we have the research that says this, and so like if we actually care about like profits, let people rest.
There's been many other studies about workplace motivation and things like that. Like the coffee break started like that, right? Mm-hmm. You know, people would get this coffee break, they would go get coffee, come back caffeinated, and they were like, oh, productivity increases when they come back after being caffeinated. Mm-hmm. Not GE. Westinghouse Project. Charlie, can you check me on that? The Westinghouse Project, you ever heard of that one? So it was a factory. They wanted to find a way to increase productivity. So they changed the light level, and productivity went up. So we're like, let's change it back. They changed it back, and it went up again. And it wasn't a huge change, but it was the workers noticing that something changed. There's different ways to go about it. You want to change your 4-day work week or 3 days or have all the paid time off. There's lots of different ways to go about it. Maybe a bit of psychology, maybe people who employ people having empathy for outside circumstances and what, hey, here is the contract. This is what I need. Can you provide what I need as a business owner, as a worker? Being fully transparent, being like, this is what's required. Can you do that? This is what I can offer. It's 5 days, 40 hours a week. You know, that used to be, you know, 5 8s, 40 hours a week. That was a standard work week wherever I was. Whenever I hire somebody now, that's usually one of the first things I ask. I'm like, hey, how much you want to work? A lot of times the answer is full-time. My immediate check is, what does that mean to you now? Because it hasn't been I haven't had somebody say 40 hours in a very long time.
What has
32
been like
hours.
the response? 32.
32 hours.
Love that.
So for them, a full-time work week is 32 hours. Cool.
Just like, yes. Like, that
Is
makes
that
me
good?
really happy.
It doesn't matter if that's good, bad, indifferent, whatever. If they only want to work this amount and it fits into what I need, then we jive. You know? And I'll be like, cool. Well, I can give you 3 10s. You could work 30 hours in 3 days. Well, I don't want to work more than 6 hours a day. So you got to work fucking 5 days to get your 30 hours now. Well, I don't want to work 5 days. I've had these conversations. It's like, we're not mathing here, you know?
Yeah.
We just got to get to it.
The changing variable usually increases.
What do you got for me, Charlie? Is this the Westinghouse project?
Yeah.
Was I close to it?
So it's called the Hawthorne effect, and that's named after the guy. And he kind of just was changing all the different variables. So it says like he was giving 2 5-minute breaks, and then they changed it to 2 10-minute breaks, and then they went back to 2 5-minute breaks just to see what would happen. And usually productivity would go up, and then maybe dip. So they shortened the whole work day by 30 minutes. Productivity went up. So then they decreased it an hour, and productivity would go up per hour, but not like overall it would go down because there was less time in the day. So then they changed it back, and productivity went back up again because now they had more. Anyway, but yes.
Interesting.
Lots of buttons to push. There's lots of variables in dealing with human psychology.
Yeah.
It's something you said earlier, you know, about these things. Maybe some of the things were cultural, but, you know, we were talking about empathy and the psychology behind it. You know, you even said, you know, all people are born good. What's that, like Kantism? Immanuel Kant? One of them? Or Jesus?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I think it's
Whatever.
actually
doesn't matter.
Rousseau.
It doesn't matter if it's
Rousseau,
Stevie Billy
maybe.
Bongs. I don't fucking, you know, it's somebody's philosophy that, you know, I even heard about, and I don't read books or nothing like that. And just hearing you describe Hawthorne, Westinghouse project thing, variables, changing variables, listening to some eggheads talk on Lex Friedman, they distilled it down really well for me because it's something I try to employ in businesses now when I'm running a space. You keep the walls, you change the particles. Be able to step out and be like, here's the particles, we're just going to move them around, but we're going to keep these constraints, but change the variables, which is a basic foundation of a newer philosophy that's been coming to prevalent specifically in a sport that I've been exploring in jiu-jitsu called the ecological dynamics or ecological psychology, based around self-organization. You know, distill it way down, it's, you know, give a man a fish he eats for a day, teach a man a fish he eats for a bunch.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, I could show you this one technique to how to solve this problem this one time because this worked one time in one way. But if I give you the understanding of everything behind it, you will have the skills to do it all these ways with any variable that comes your way. I like that way of teaching and learning, I think. I'm coming more and more around to it the more I listen to it, but it makes really good sense. Like a baby, nobody teaches a baby how to walk.
Yeah.
You know, if they're fully functional and have 2 legs and all the things, you know, there's variables, more variables out there, but
No, sweeping generalizations.
exactly.
Yeah.
They observe their environment. They start by rolling over, and then they crawl maybe with their arms only. Then they involve their legs, and then they start to stand up and find their balance. And they fail a lot. They fall. They bump their heads. They get hurt. It's like if I fall, I get hurt. I'm going to get to a point where I don't fall, and then I'm going to become bipedal and learn to walk. But they aren't really taught. We don't take them to, you know, learn how to walk class.
Yeah.
You know, it's this inherent thing that people will self-organize around a certain task to build skill. You know, here are the ingredients to make this cake. Well, now you know how to make this one cake. But if I teach you how flour and fat and acid and sugar bind and react with heat and each other, then you can make any fucking cake. Or anything that contains these ingredients.
Yeah.
You know? Well, what happens if I take one of these out? I'm not your teacher. Take one of them out and see what the result is. Find the information, self-organize around it, and change and react. I don't know where I went on that. Ecological Psychology.
I totally lost where we were going to.
No, it was good.
But I'm thinking about cake.
Yeah, cake's fucking delicious. It's good. What you got up here, Charlie?
Oh, it was just looking at if humans are innately good and says,
CNN says they are. CNN says they are innately good from the Health and Wellness Department of CNN. So it is true. You were correct.
It says that there's certain instincts that we have, hugging and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like when it started becoming a
Check your mic.
oh, sorry, I was
No,
like
good.
leaning forward and reading.
I got you, yeah.
I think when it was starting to become more of a like popularized conversation was with Jean-Jacques Rousseau, French guy.
The oceanographer?
No, that's
Nah.
Cousteau.
Rousseau is
Sorry,
this.
Dr. Science.
I don't know. Would we classify him as a philosopher?
Sure.
Rousseau, I think so.
Yeah. I don't like to describe people. I
Yeah.
don't like to individuals over groups, but
But he
psychological.
wrote a lot and had quite a few conversations about like the state of nature, and I think in one of his arguments he was talking about like are people innately good, but I read his stuff like years ago, so I kind of vaguely remember. I'm currently going through the book The Dawn of Everything by David Graeber and I forget the other author, another David. But they mentioned Rousseau in the chapter I read this morning. And it was kind of funny because it was talking about like the French Revolution and how a lot of people blamed Rousseau for the revolution because he was like kind of one of the founders of like leftist thought in France and talking about like, hey, like society probably doesn't have to like be this way. It could be better. And French Revolution happened. And so you had some more right-leaning people being like, like Rousseau is the reason why we had a revolution and he's the guy that caused the guillotines. And it's like, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch, but so it was an interesting chapter.
I can dig it. Yeah.
So, let's see. Oh, yeah, there's a state of nature. Yeah.
State of nature. Yeah, look at you. Good. Yeah, I don't know anything about Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I know some other Jean-Jacques, but not this one. I'll look into it. Good. Something to read. Thank you.
Pretty cool, dude.
Right on.
Yeah.
He's got a nice haircut and wig or whatever he's.
I was like, was the hair legit?
Yes.
Well, we may never know.
They all had syphilis to fill out, and that's why they got wigs.
Oh, Jesus.
So I heard, allegedly.
Well, I think it was Louis the 14th who he had syphilis, all his hair fell out, so he wore the wig, and then it suddenly became fashion of Versailles. So then
Yeah, it's like if the king's doing it, then obviously
Yeah.
it's in fashion.
that's yeah. He wore a pinky ring. Everyone wore a pinky ring.
Yeah, I like that.
Nice.
Right on. Let's tap it on the table. Right on. Cool. Climate replay.
Yes.
I can't read my own fucking handwriting. Gaming diversity? Is that what it says?
No,
You
so
described
climate
it as something
replay.
that I can't fucking read my own handwriting. Gaming something. Something in the gaming world.
Like sustainability in the gaming industry.
Yes, that's what I read. Right on. That sounds. I don't know. I understand the gist of it, but I think we got into a little bit about moderating and things like that. Do you play games and things like that? Minecraft?
Chronically, yes.
Chronically. Wow.
I'm a League of Legends girly. I've been playing League of Legends since season 2. And speaking of Twitch, I was a League of Legends streamer.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started in 2018.
Charlie, take it easy. Oh my. Right on.
I actually had like a sizable audience, like no big deal. No, I reached up to about like 75 concurrent viewers.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like on path to partner.
Yeah.
But at the time when like my stream was growing, I was in an environmental justice class as part of my transition from aero to environmental science, and I was like, oh shit, environmental justice is kind of more important than League of Legends, and so I moved my platform from being a League of Legends streamer to being an environmental politics streamer.
That's awesome.
It was thankfully my community stayed.
crossed over? I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
it crossed over. Yeah, I
Oh.
lost a couple people that were just there for League.
Yeah.
But a lot of my audience was there for me, and they were like, "Oh, like this is actually really interesting. Please keep talking to us about this." And I was like, well, thank you, Internet, for the validation.
Nice.
And so Climate Replay, my friend Corey, He works at Minecraft. He developed the bees. He found me on Twitter and was like, hey, you're like one of the only Twitch streamers talking about like climate stuff. Do you want to co-found an organization with me? And I'm like, oh my God, you're a god of the internet. Yes. Like,
God of the internet.
oh yeah, no, like Minecraft devs are like worshipped on the internet. It's
Debs.
devs, developer.
Oh,
So
okay.
DEV.
All these shortening of words.
Sorry, I'm speaking internet speak. I apologize.
That's cool.
So Minecraft
I'm learning.
developers.
I'm learning, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like, what are you doing? Like, see me, senpai. Okay. And so we started this organization. Like him and a couple other of his friends in Sweden that also like work at Minecraft or other game industries called Climate Replay. And the whole idea of it is just like we are gamers passionate about like a better world. And also in Twitch, and I'm sure like you noticed this being on Twitch, there's a huge culture of supporting like charities and nonprofits. And like if you are a streamer and you do not do at least one charity event, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, even if you're not, like, you can easily just hop on like the month-long St. Jude's campaign, right? And that's like, you get to check your box. And so like there's such a culture of, if you're live streaming and like you're a content creator, how are you utilizing your platform for the greater good? And so bringing climate into that space, it just worked. And so now we have a Discord server with, I think it's about 500 people, just on the community side. And we did like a whole research paper on NFTs and like the climate impacts of that when that was a huge conversation in the gaming industry a couple years ago. And you had like, a bunch of game companies be like, we're going to start having NFTs in our game. And we're like, guys, like there's hardly any research on this. We should probably like have this be our first big project. And so Corey and Mariana like sat down and basically wrote a master's like thesis. And then that got in like Bloomberg and news articles and like I think also TechCrunch and a couple others. And it was just like, how do we describe the blockchain in a way for like people to understand? Because it's very, very technical. So we have like cute little doodles of like capybaras, like with different hats and like stuff to make it like just more visual. And this year now we're looking at moving into more like research on like, here's how to put like climate messaging in a game that's not just like, well, we're fucked. It's like, how do you create a game where if there's climate themes, it's like, here's what you can do to make a difference. And if you're also looking at supply chain, it's like, well, if you're an indie studio, are you able to run your game on servers that use renewable energy? Or are you able to reduce packaging? Like what, wow, I was going to get super technical there for a second. Okay, so
Keep going. You're doing great.
no worries. I was going to start using some like climate lingo, and I'm like,
Do it.
so like different levels of emissions. So like you can look at what are the emissions that you can control, like on your own. So that's like, if I myself am making a thing with materials I personally have gathered. If I remember right, that's like scope 1. You'll probably need to fact check me on the definitions for like scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, because I haven't used those terms in a hot minute. But basically looking at all of the various ways that you can have climate impacts throughout your supply chain, manufacturing, production, like all that, and how can you mitigate it across the board. And oftentimes organizations struggle with, I think it's scope 3. Hey, here we go. So scope 1 being the direct emissions from sources owned or controlled by a company. So fuel burned and boilers. Scope 2 is being indirect from purchased energy like electricity, steam, heating, cooling. And scope 3, activities involving assets beyond the reporting organization's control, but within the value chain. So like products purchased from suppliers or products when customers use them. So we want to be writing and having discussion about like what does scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions look like in the gaming industry and how can they be addressed. And then also if we're looking at intersectional environmentalism, it's like, are you paying your people a living wage? Like, and all those types of things. So that's what we're doing.
Is emissions is emissions problematic in the gaming realm?
Yes.
Forgive my ignorance.
So yeah, emissions, because you can look at how much power is needed to run all the computers that the game developers are using. There are emissions based off of, if it's coming from a coal power plant or liquid natural gas or solar.
Solar, whatever.
Right? So
Wind
like
farm,
solar,
yeah,
they'd be
all
like,
the-
okay,
all
cool,
the
like
power sources.
renewable energy. Nuclear, like, okay, cool, no emissions, like we're set. But if like the power is coming from a coal or gas plant, you're dealing with emissions. And so there's a conversation like, well, are you guys able to use servers that are on the renewable grid? Like, is that
So
possible?
What if they're not? Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's not, then how do we make it accessible? Is it possible to make it accessible? And like having those conversations and outlining what that could look like. So that's the current passion project at the team. We're like, yeah, this is exciting. So let's go after this. Now that we did a whole thing on NFTs, let's do a thing on like, how do you develop a game from start to finish that is like environmentally conscious, either through messaging or scope emissions. Also, like, are the people that are working on it like taken care of? Those types of things. So, and
Video games.
Yep, video games.
It's an industry that's larger than the film industry. It's a massive, massive.
Oh,
industry.
I dig it. Yeah, it's before having this conversation, I would have never thought of emissions in video games, other than some guy sitting down in the basement eating Cheetos and emissions. But I'm open to hearing it, and that makes sense. If you're in a place where you're developing games and the only power supply available is, coal or whatever, but you still have, socially responsible, going back to that. I want to develop the most socially responsible climate game I can. But the only thing available to me is coal-powered fuel, electricity. You kind of got to go with what you know, right?
Yeah. And so, like, then you look at everything else, right? So it's not just about, like, oh, well, your power's coming from a coal plant. Well, fuck you guys. Like, doesn't count. But there's also, like, you're looking at computer parts. How are they manufactured? Are you getting your parts from, where
Where does it break at, though? So let me just check you right there. Where does it break? Okay, you do, there's 100% of the pie, and you do 95% of the stuff right. All the things. You make all your own computers. You grow your own computers. I don't know. I'm fucking spitballing here.
coming from the computer tree.
Exactly.
Like,
You got these non-GMO, sustainable computer trees. You harvest them naturally, no pesticides. But the 5% you fall short on is your only access is the coal-powered fuel. Do you get a fucking stamp of approval? Who decides it? Where's the fucking breaking point?
well, who decides it? You'd have to have like an organization that is actually like working on that. So the stuff that we're
Like the government?
like government regulation, or in the EU, it might be a whole EU-wide regulation.
Okay.
United Nations, although like arguably the United Nations is doing jack shit right now, but that's a whole like going way back to the earlier conversation.
I don't know what they're doing. So
Like for me personally, I'd be like, oh, I mean, if like 95% you're good, I'd be like, fuck yeah, you're good. Because we're still working within a system that's transitioning, like hopefully transitioning into being more sustainable, right? It's not like we can just turn off all the coal power plants right now. Like shit would hit the fan if we did that. It would come to a screeching halt. But it's like, how fast can we switch to renewables is like the argument that I'm more so operating in, rather than like, oh, we're just gonna turn it all off tomorrow. It's like, no, like everything will fail. Like our whole society will crumble if we do that right now. However, there are pockets that's proving that you can run entirely on a renewable grid. Like I think it was just California a couple days ago. They I'm not sure if it was a city or if it was the whole state, had just successfully ran their grid, I think, for 7 hours straight on just renewable energy. And then you've also seen in
7 hours?
7 hours just on renewables.
So 30% of a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's still like a really big step in.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I
in terms
didn't mean
of
to
renewables.
poo-poo it. I don't know. One day for...
Which one was it?
It had to be one of the giant states, I'm sure. California, Texas, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Something with a wind farm, maybe?
I'm not sure where I read it. I saw it on Instagram threads, so I'm not sure which news article it could have been. But
I don't know.
anyway,
I
so
got you,
even
yeah.
even if it's like incorrect, but if we were to have like a thing that's like, yeah, for 7 hours, no coal or gas power plants had to operate. That is a huge stride because then it shows like it's possible. Then it's just like, okay, it's possible within the current infrastructure that we have. How do we scale it? Because it shows that it can work. And in Europe, I think is it the Netherlands has the most wind farms, and they've been.
Is anybody
running
in
on.
disagreement or taking the opposition side that it won't work?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Solar power works, right?
there's
Except when it's not sunny.
it's the GOP,
It's the who?
the GOP, so the right, Republicans.
It's only Republicans that feel that way?
So I have to be careful what I say here because I don't want to get
You don't have
canceled.
to be
No, it's like I'll just make sure that people aren't like interpreting what I'm saying incorrectly. So there are specific politicians in the GOP that are like, oh well, wind turbines and solar panels and like it won't work and climate change is a hoax and we can't build turbines because they kill birds. It's like, do you want to talk about how many cars kill birds? Like if we're concerned about the birds, like.
Cats
Build buses.
kill the most fucking birds on the
Cats.
planet.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. So you want to go eradicate cats? Do you care about birds that much?
Told you, drowning 1,000
Like-
kittens buried deep in that fucking bill.
like the kittens. But no, like so anytime like there's conversation or like when Texas froze and their power grid went down, what's his fucking name? Is it Abbott?
Yeah.
Abbott.
Governor Abbott,
He was
yeah.
like, it's the wind turbines that caused the problem. It's like, no, it's the fact that your coal plants failed. And that was like the research that came out about it. It's like the turbines were fine. It was your fossil infrastructure that failed you. But he was spouting off about like, it's the renewable power grid and we have to keep
And he's,
drilling for oil. Governor.
GOP.
GOP, yeah.
And
So
that's,
he's
what
on
color
the-
is that?
Huh?
It's not his skin, his fucking political party. I don't know what the fucking things are. GOP
Republican.
is Republican. That means
Red.
Red. And that means right.
Yeah.
The right, yeah.
Okay, I can remember all that.
So GOP,
right.
Republican,
And the
the
other
right.
side is
Democrat, left,
blue.
DNC, blue.
DNC.
Blue.
DNC.
Donkeys. I mean, that's in the context of America. Our Overton window is pretty far right as it is, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I'm getting this right.
No, you're good.
Clearly ignorant on it. I don't do politics.
I do politics every day.
So I check, these people who makes it up, blah, 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 people that deny climate and don't think solar or renewable, however you want to put it, socially responsible stuff, that doesn't work. That's GOP.
Typically.
Okay, that was my next question. Is like,
Yeah.
is there anybody on Team Blue
Oh, yeah.
that feels that way?
Like, there are some people on the blue team, and then there are
Why'd you go right to red then?
because that's the majority. So a lot of the funding
Really?
policy, a lot of the money and policies coming out against a Green New Deal or green transition is from the right, the red team.
The red team?
The red team.
Okay, and that's red team, people empower red team?
People
or
empower red team.
People in the whole world country that are red team?
No, people empower red team. There's actually quite a few Republicans. So
I'm here, I got it.
There's
Keep going.
quite a few red team people that actually are like big environmentalists because these are people that like typically support that like are farmers, right? And it's like, well, yeah, of course we want healthy soil so I can grow my crops.
I like that.
Like, yeah, clean
Team
water,
Red?
clean air. Yeah, I mean,
One hash mark Team Red.
so like sweeping generalizations, right? You have Team Blue people that are farmers, but if you look at just like the majority of people like out in the Midwest, like working where all the like major farms are, typically will lean more to red team. So
Okay.
I'm just speaking in sweeping
Yeah,
generalizations
that's
here.
them. Whatever they got to do.
So, but yeah, people in power, red team. If you look at the lobbying, they get funded by the Koch brothers, and the Koch brothers are interested in like fossil fuels. And so these politicians that are taking all this fossil fuel money are going to be like, yeah, of course, like we're not going to support climate change because it's in the best interest of my shareholders, as if we're, or, you know, my NASCAR sponsors to not support this.
So, Koch brothers,
Yeah.
they don't give money to blue team?
They give money to some blue team.
Okay. So Koch brothers are playing both sides of the fence.
Yes. Same with the Heritage Foundation.
Who's that? Whatever. They're playing both sides of the fence?
Yes.
What are these? The smart people? Do they have a lot of money? Like, they got a lot of money.
They have a lot of money.
So they're invested in both sides.
Yes.
You can see
So
this
it
is
doesn't matter what fucking Team Red or Team
Yeah, here we
does.
go, oil.
It's who's got the fucking money that's making it. Because Koch brothers and Heritage Foundation is going to tell them how to vote, right?
very true.
Yeah, and Heritage
Did we just say
Foundation's actually...
solve cancer here? I don't know.
I think a lot of people know that the people with money are making a lot of the decisions.
You make a lot of assumptions, Charlie.
Okay. Well, that's
You ever seen
Maybe
some dumb
that's just-
people? I've seen some dumb people. I've had conversations with these people. Some people don't know. Go ahead, babe. I'm just.
Yeah, so using Open Secrets, great site. It's like oil and gas recipients here. And I love that Ron DeSantis is #1. That's great.
Who's that?
500. So he was running for president, and they donated $500,000 to his campaign almost.
Who did?
This is just from an oil and gas companies. So I mean, that's
Oil
pretty
and gas.
That's pretty vague.
Oh, it's pretty. Yeah, it could be an oil and gas. Like BP is a oil and gas company.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They got a bunch of money in solar alternative fuels now.
But they didn't.
But
they
there's still
just,
fucking oil and gas.
Didn't they just
They
come
just
out?
opened up a new fucking massive oil rig. Yeah.
But they came out and said, we've donated a lot to renewable energies. It's your turn now. It's now the citizens,
Oh, like the
private
carbon
businesses done.
footprint? Oh.
Yeah, it's just going back to the same
Where's
that
the
time.
fucking line? I do 95% of it right. I grow my own fucking computers on a non-GMO, non-pesticide tree. But 5% of it, where's the fucking line?
Well, I mean, in the case of BP, so like the thing, so have you heard the term like carbon footprint?
Yes.
Okay. So like the idea of a carbon footprint was from BP, and it was they started getting more pushback about like, hey, you're polluting the planet and you guys fucking suck. It's like, oh, well, we're all in this together, and like you as a little individual compared to our massive like corporate footprint, you're the problem. So just recycle. Just thrift your clothes. Just drive less. Upgrade your car. Do whatever you can to reduce your carbon footprint, and if you can't do it, feel fucking guilty about it and ignore us. And that's like massive marketing campaign around carbon footprint. And this is like where we get into marketing and like where's the line between marketing and propaganda, which is something I'm kind of interested in learning about.
Orange cheese, white cheese, all taste same. We gotta find that fucking button. Marketing, propaganda.
It's
What's
like,
the fucking difference?
and now they're doing it again, right? It's like, oh, well, we've invested in renewable energy, so now it's like it's your turn to invest. It's like, okay, cool. If I can't afford a $400 emergency expense and I'm paycheck to paycheck, where the fuck am I gonna invest? Like,
Stop buying lattes. Ooh, singer. I think they call that a callback.
it's like stop buying lattes. Yeah, right.
Don't do whatever you gotta do. I'm in charge of you. You're in charge of you.
Yeah, no, but it's like, it's insane how you have like these massive companies that are just like, oh yeah, no, you as the person are the problem. It's like you're not even giving us the option. Like we can talk about not even just like fossil fuel stuff, but if we're looking at like internet, right? Like there are sometimes internet service providers, they're not everywhere. You're limited. Or if we're talking phone providers, they're not everywhere. You're limited. Like yeah,
Like
T-Mobile.
who you have to buy from, in the,
yeah, to have like the best service possible.
but Comcast is only available here, so you gotta use that.
Yeah,
All right. What do they call that? Like monopoly?
monopoly.
No?
Yeah, and
You can't do that. It's illegal. You can't. There's anti-monopoly stuff, antitrust stuff.
I can't
Am
tell
I
if you're being
wrong?
serious. I mean,
Have I been led astray?
I can't tell if you're being serious
can't tell
or
either.
not.
I find it utterly unbelievably fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I mean, so technically, monopolies aren't supposed to happen. They do happen. And I mean, we can look at Amazon, for example, right? Like, they're everywhere now. If anyone were to try to compete with Amazon, they would just be shut down. And if you look at, like,
I say nay.
we can get into it.
Kindred. Technically, they compete with Amazon. Do they not?
But I'm talking about the scale. So can they compete with Amazon at that scale? Will they ever be able to scale up to the size of Amazon?
I don't know. I like Alex. She's a go-getter. She could do a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah, Alex is amazing.
Really?
Like, honestly, if she wanted to run for president, I think she could totally do it, actually.
So where does it come down to? Educating the consumer, perhaps? Like, vote with your dollar instead of voting Team Red, Team Blue?
Oh, but if we vote with our dollar, then our tiki-taki gets banned.
Yeah.
Because we learn what things to boycott.
So put your fucking phone down and go out and grow some vegetables.
With what backyard? Because I can't afford a house.
You go in your community and you have this solid community of people. Somebody will have land. If you don't, you have resources that you combine to strengthen that community. You go vertical. You get a shipping container and grow lights. And
So how do I do
figure it out.
that if I live in an apartment complex where we don't have a yard, everyone's living paycheck to paycheck, or the majority living paycheck to paycheck?
You start broadening your circle. Have conversations with people that are smarter than myself that have answers to these. Bring people together in a room, have a conversation, no fucking phones, maybe a little technology so you can fact check some stuff. You hash that shit out and you figure it out. I grow fucking potatoes, you have chickens. You get potatoes, I get eggs. Handshake, have a nice day. I don't even like you or your fucking dog because it shits on my yard. We're going to put that aside because I like your eggs and you like my potatoes.
But what if I can't have eggs or potatoes because I live in an apartment and that's all I can afford?
Then it boils down to you being a filthy communist and the community takes care of you because at the moment you have not.
Yeah.
You are not a have-not. You have because we have. If I'm holding, you're holding. You're right? Remember those days?
From each according to his ability, to each according to his need.
Yes. I love it.
Marx.
Ooh.
Daddy Karl Marx.
Ooh. What has this fucking evolved into? This is a fucking ripper right here. I love it. Karl Marx?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with the mustache, Marx Brothers?
No, big old beard.
Oh, more facial hair. Oh, Marx.
Yeah, Marxism.
Actually, that might have been Debs. Was that Debs?
No, I think that one was Marx.
I don't know a whole
Or-
lot, but I'm pretty sure that's Team Red. Like Hammer and Sickle Red, is it not?
Amen.
Oh. This is a spicy one. I love it.
You sure?
Yeah, Karl Marx.
Yeah, Karl Marx.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You quoted it hard, too. You knew it from fucking heart. Like you said it to yourself in the mirror.
I mean, you're totally right that it should be like being able to depend on a community to a certain degree is a solution or should be a solution. But it's not. I mean, always.
And then it's like, how do you
Communism
find
is a
community?
great idea on paper.
Yeah.
When has it ever fucking worked?
Well, when
It worked in the Bible.
Please check to you. Please continue.
Oh, geez, was it an Acts?
let me
Which
pull
one
up
was
my.
it?
Ads, maybe?
Oh no,
Easy?
ACTS, Acts.
Oh, the book of
There's
Acts.
one society that was communist and it was fine until one person came in and was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna like start taking everything.
And okay, now I don't. I'm gonna get a little red here, but look at area. Look at
Wait,
countries.
like what kind of red are we?
I say red.
Which red?
The whole thing I was saying, I was like red in the face, red,
Red
Team Red or red.
Red sun in the sky.
Hammer
Mao
sickle.
Zedong. I'm the countries that have tried socialist democracies or socialist ideas. How many of those has the U.S. invaded, or in other ways destabilized?
What's the difference between socialism and communism?
So socialism is where labor like owns the rights to their labor, and the communism is like where everything is more so under government control to be evenly distributed. And so, like, say
Socialism isn't under government control. I thought socialism is government. It's a style of governing.
It can be. I
It
think
can be.
socialism
So
is part of
I'm trying to
communism.
think like what's the
Oh my goodness.
because I know you have another podcast.
No,
in like
you're good to
15
go. We
minutes.
got
So I'm
time.
trying to think like what's
No.
the like
Yeah.
most surface level way I can distill this down. So like socialist thought would be. So you're a business owner, right?
Yes.
You have your pizza shop. Your employees have a say in how the business is run.
Yes.
That would be a more socialist approach.
That is a correct statement.
So a more
I mean that it currently exists.
yeah. So the way that you run your business would be a more socialist approach. They have a say.
I ultimately have the final say because I have the totality of the business to look after. Alas, if an idea is presented to me that could improve something or
no,
change.
so then that's more capitalistic approach because you make the final decision. So like if your employees were like, hey, like here's what I'm saying about my labor, and it's more democratic of like everyone comes together and it's like, actually, let's have a discussion about this and we vote on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like so each employee like has a stake. It doesn't have to be like a financial stake in the company, but it's like basically they own their labor. So
I agree with that. Everybody owns their own labor.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that works for me or anywhere else, they can fire me just as easily as I can fire them.
yes, so that's a socialist thought. You're a socialist, Joey.
I'm a human being. I prefer not to be put in a category. Do what you want. I'm not in charge of you. Individuals over groups.
Mm-hmm.
Please continue.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the very surface level. Then we can get into like the role of government and everything, and that's like we'll be talking for like 5 more hours on that because like there's a lot of different ways you can do it.
Okay.
But if you're interested in that type of stuff, there's this YouTuber, Second Thought.
JT, my God. My
We
God.
need to hang out.
Yep.
Like you're cool.
It's all right. I'll take a break, guys. You have a
No.
No, it's cool. I love it.
No, it's just great, like bumping into people like you recognize this YouTuber too. Oh my gosh, like we're on the same side of the internet. Great YouTube channel.
Red side or
though.
blue side?
Blue side. Socialist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Socialism blue.
Socialism.
I gotta get a chart on that.
Oh, I mean, it's called a political compass map, and you can do it. And
Yeah.
where I fall is very, very far to the left and south, which is
That's where I am too.
I was not included in that
well.
high
I
five
mean, sorry.
because you
High
don't know
five?
where I fall.
Like, I'll high five you.
Don't clip that.
No, okay.
I just like reached.
Yeah, that's
right.
too far to the right.
No, I mean, so for context, like if we're talking about political compass, Bernie Sanders falls in the middle. Now, if we're looking at like the United States, where it falls in the political spectrum, we're more so on the right, so red team. Even our blue team on the global stage is more red team. And Bernie Sanders, if you put him like on the global political compass on like how more like left versus right, so blue versus red that you are, he's more in the middle. But here in America, he's like this dirty communist that's out to for your kids and your jobs and your money.
I have to
and
say your
like,
impersonations are on point. You've done many of them. That sounds just like Bernie.
no, that's not Bernie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, like people like against Bernie, right? Like
Okay.
like he's a communist and he wants to destroy the country.
He's
and
not a communist.
No, he is a
Did he say that?
moderate.
What does that fucking mean? What color is he? Purple, green? Come on, on me. How do you fucking distill this down?
So I mean, here we go. So
I didn't
this
mean
is
to interrupt, but I'm
like
significantly confused now.
so your x-axis left to right
Oh,
is economic. That's the economic scale. Then you've got the y-axis, which is authoritarian to libertarian. So authoritarian left would be the USSR or CCP. Authoritarian right would be fascists. And that's kind of where I mean, you can see here's Biden and
Fascists
Trump.
are bad.
yes.
Well,
We're supposed to punch fascists.
that we
Yes.
did
It's
we
okay to
did
punch
for
It's okay to punch Nazis.
Yes.
we did it for 5 years in the 40s. Seems like, but then Operation Paperclip, it's like, I think it's bad. Apparently not everybody.
You think punching Nazis is bad? Trevor?
No, I think fascism is bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Nazis are the same as fascists.
Nazi, yes.
Nazis are fascists.
Now, and it's confusing because it stands for National Socialism, but they're not really socialists. It was just a trick.
Same with North Korea.
And you asked me before we got down here why I started a podcast. Because I need to fucking learn some shit, clearly.
No, I mean, you don't have to. This is
thank you.
Because think globally, act locally, right? This is the stuff you have in mind, but what you're saying is act locally, and that's a good way to do it.
Oh, thank you.
I
take the go fuck yourself back.
I think that's what this podcast is. I think that's what GFY Studios, if we may say, that's what it's based around is, building that kind of group, that community.
So in this, what'd you say, a compass? This is a square. I want to call it a compass. In this graph you pulled up, this thing,
Yes.
we are to put, and I believe it has Biden lives somewhere, Trump lives somewhere on there.
They're both up there.
Who's that,
yeah,
Hawking?
authoritarian, right?
Hawkins.
Hawkins.
So this is specifically
Hawkins.
this is the 2020 election. So that
He
showed
ran
up.
on the Green Party, right?
Yeah, Green Party.
Oh, he's in the green zone too?
So Green Party
So we
is
put
kind
humans in boxes.
of their platform.
We put the belief of humans in boxes.
if that's what politicians truly believe, obviously they say a lot of things.
Politicians do that?
Politicians say things that we are expected to believe about them. We don't know necessarily if they're true to that.
I think we can all agree already. We've said it in jest a couple times that they say one thing and do another.
Absolutely.
And Team Blue is funded by Coca-Cola and Heritage Way.
It's not Coca-Cola. The Koch brothers, KOCH. They're not Coca-Cola.
Charles and I forgot his
Oh my
brother's
God.
name.
Charles.
Are they the Jews?
No,
They're not Jewish?
no, I don't think so.
Coke? I'm sorry.
Look at all that.
If we're going to fact check, I don't want to necessarily get into it, but
I thought they
Coke
were
sounds
from,
like a
I thought they were like Southern Baptist boys.
Southern Baptist. Anyway, so we already said that we're putting people in boxes because of their thoughts, but these people say one thing and do another, and it comes from a different thing. So because of people's beliefs, we're putting them in Fred C. Koch.
Well, you can also look at.
He's
like,
made out of
voting
Texas.
record.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're all from Texas. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, so with the political compass, you also just look at voting record, right? So authoritarian right would be.
But vote, no matter how they vote, it doesn't matter. It's who they're paid to vote for.
I mean, yes, but that's where it's like, okay, well, you have people that genuinely believe certain things. I mean, like what? Like the disaster with IVF that just happened, right? In Alabama.
What's IVF?
In vitro fertilization.
Oh, IVF.
IVF, yeah.
IBF. I was like the pork
Oh,
company?
no, sorry, IVF.
IVF,
I
yeah.
need to work on my enunciation.
Alabama, I think.
No, I mumble when I talk really quickly, especially when it gets in stuff I don't know about.
But so like in Alabama,
Oh wait.
they just had banned in vitro fertilization, in essence because they said that embryos are children. And so if an embryo dies, that is murder.
Okay.
So a fertilized egg is a child, and therefore, like if it fails, that's murder. And then you have like some on the red team freaking the fuck out because it's like, how did this happen? Like, we don't support that. But you have people that held to those beliefs that the red team were talking about in, overturning Roe v. Wade, so banning abortion and saying like life starts at conception. And so you had people latching onto the beliefs that these people were talking about, whether or not they believed it or not, whether they were paid for it. The fact is they voted on it, they supported it, and they preached it.
Who voted on it? The government or the people?
Government. So Supreme Court, when they overturned Roe v. Wade. So that's a red team thought.
So the Supreme Court is Team Red?
I think it's the majority is Team Red, right?
Oh yeah, it's
It's like a 4-3 split. From
well, there's 9 justices.
Wait, so the judges are either Republican or the judges are red or blue too?
They are supposed to be impartial, but you can again look at how they've ruled on things in the past and who they're appointed by. Some of these judges are
Not who they're appointed by.
who owns them.
Oh my goodness. Charlie.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, like, what just happened with what's his name? Who just got in trouble for going on all these like bougie vacations?
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas,
Which-
and not disclosing his bougie.
He went on vacation and he got in trouble for it.
He
go
got
to the fucking
a
island or
lot.
something
He
like
got
that?
a lot of vacations from people that he then ruled on stuff that affected them in a positive way.
That's not very nice.
It's a little suspect.
Suspect is another way to put it.
And like I think it's by law, Supreme Court justices are supposed to report any of like gifts and things that they receive, and he didn't disclose any of this, and so it became a huge like, the fuck are you doing?
By law, if you get paid more than $600 on Venmo, you got to report that.
I think they changed that actually.
Here's
I could be wrong.
Here's ProPublica about it.
Yeah.
Which one is Clarence Thomas? The guy on the right or the left?
Left?
Okay.
This man right here. Oh.
Who's the other guy?
He's a guy.
was it?
This is Harlan Crow. He's a Republican donor. He's donated to a lot of Republican, and he has a very large collection of Nazi memorabilia,
I love this guy.
including
You love him
napkins.
for having Nazi
No,
memorabilia?
that was sarcasm. Like, I love
okay.
this guy.
Oh,
like
okay.
the delivery wasn't delivered properly.
He goes on cruises in far-flung locales on Crow's yacht, flies on
Wait a
his private
second.
jet.
How do you know he has Nazi memorabilia? You been to his house and seen his Nazi collection?
There's pictures of it.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see Harlan.
Transparent. Like, let me guess, they're on TikTok.
Maybe
I'm learning so much today.
I'm gonna have to type in Nazi memorabilia.
Your internet says
So this guy, Harlan, whatever his name is,
The Atlantic says he's not a Nazi though, so we can totally trust it.
I mean,
so we don't like the Atlantic now because of what they said.
I'm
just being skeptical. It's like, oh, you're saying you're not a Nazi, but you have a bunch of Nazi stuff. So I mean, like, are you just like a fan, or like, why are you collecting all these things?
It's an investment, maybe worth more money down the road.
let's see.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll speak for the guy. I don't know.
Yeah, here we go. Here's some of it.
Ooh,
Adolf
that's pretty-
stamps,
Yeah, it's not a borderline at all.
signed copy right there.
That could be forged. Could have signed it
True,
themselves
true.
just to try and bump the value.
Actually, interestingly, I worked at a used bookshop, and
Oh, boy.
a copy just like this came in because it would be handed out to upper SS officers and expected to be on like above your fireplace or like a pride of place in the house,
yeah.
kind of to show your loyalty to the party.
Wild.
Here's the room where he houses a lot of the collection.
Man, I got a picture of his room and everything. Harlan Crow. So, whew, man, it's an AH with the Thunderbird on it. Yowza.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know any of these people or whatever they fucking do, but if Harlan Crow
There's the napkins. That's what I was looking for.
and the napkins,
Yeah.
Harlan Crow allegedly, supposedly, whatever, gave money to Clarence Thomas, gave him a bunch of gifts. He didn't disclose it, and Clarence Thomas voted a way that benefits Harlan Crow.
Yes.
Okay, and this surprises people now.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing that's like unfortunate, right? Where it's like our institution is not supposed to operate in this way. Like, if we're the way that, if we're going back to like the Constitution and the way government
Oh
was
my
set
goodness, we're
up,
going all the way back that far.
all the way
1776.
back to the founding fathers and the Constitution that was written by a group of 20-somethings, which is like mind-boggling to me that like we put them on like such a pedestal and we say that they were like these older men. It's like, no, they were college aged. Like, granted, like, 20-something back then, like, yeah, like more like
Might have
adulty,
died at 40.
like,
They were
everything,
middle
yeah.
age, yeah.
But they were in their 20s.
Okay.
And they wrote the Constitution. And my friend Mara, and she's a constitutional lawyer, and we've had, like, we'll sometimes get wine and, like, just solve the world's problems together over
That's
wine.
what they were doing?
Yeah.
Beer crawl in Philadelphia.
But talking with her is great because, like, I was asking her, like, well, is the Constitution a living document? And we're just, so meaning that, like, it can be amended and changed. And it's like, well, duh, like, we have so many amendments. Why are we not amending it now? Like, if it was supposed to be one thing and never changed, we never would have had any amendments. So, like, there's discourse, conversations around, like, well, we can't just change make the Second Amendment more clear. We can't just codify women's reproductive rights in the Constitution. It's like, you can, though. There's literally a procedure outlined on how to do it.
In the fucking thing, right?
Yeah. Like, you can do it. But it's like, no, but it has to be the way it was and always will be. It's like, the founding fathers did not, probably couldn't have predicted that we would have semi-automatic rifles and that children would be getting murdered in schools with them. If we told them that at the time when they were writing the Second Amendment, would they have been like, yeah, like that's fucking American, do it? Or maybe be like, hey, actually that's kind of horrifying. Let's be a bit more specific. But they wrote this document at a time and age where weapons were like manual, like lead ball, stuff your gunpowder muskets, like revolvers. Like they probably never could have predicted we'd have.
That couldn't kill a child in a school? A musket?
It would be very, very slow going.
That's not what I asked.
No, I mean, it could.
Would it make a difference if they were pushed out of a window or stabbed to death?
Well, I mean, now we're talking about different modes of death. So how many children are getting stabbed to death in school? At what magnitude? How many children are getting mowed down in school from semi-automatic rifles? Why is it so common now that children have to go through gun drills? I mean, I was in an active shooter situation my sophomore year of high school. I still physically freak out when I hear a dumpster dropping too hard or if a car backfires. Like, and this is one of the reasons why I want to leave the States. Like, I've been in multiple shooter situation lockdowns when I was in college. I have lost friends to gun violence. And it's one of those, like, why can't we figure it out? Why are the party, like the NRA and like more people on the red team, so gung-ho about, well, it's my right to be able to own weapons that were literally designed for war?
All weapons were designed for war.
This is true. But for the most efficient way of killing, why can an average civilian own that?
Because the government has the same weapons. My perspective is when they wrote that document for the civilian population to have the same capabilities as the government to prevent the government from getting out of hand.
So
I haven't read the Second Amendment or even it's like 3 pages. Colin Quinn has a great bit on it. It's like 3 fucking pages. Read the fucking thing, dude. One perspective that I have heard that I was like, that makes sense. If you got a big stick, I'm carrying a big stick in case you want to use your big stick for something that's bad.
But the Second Amendment was written for having a well-regulated militia.
Pull the thing up and read the whole thing. Don't snip it. I'm not checking you on it. I just want to say, hey, let's not pull it out of context. Let's see what it actually fucking says.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully it's not like hella long, because otherwise we'll be here for a second.
No, it's not. Like the whole thing is 3 pages,
so
right?
a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The Second Amendment, so that's a single sentence.
That's it.
So
Is
a
that it?
well-regulated militia.
Charlie, just make sure that's the whole fucking Second Amendment right there, please.
Let's go to the
Is
Constitution.
it one fucking sentence? Shall not be infringed?
Yeah, and the big part of conflict is this comma between arms and shall. So
Or people are fucking
Well, there's
arguing
also
over a comma.
conflict over well-regulated militia.
That's also
because the Second Amendment was inspired by the well-regulated militia in Switzerland. So the United States, at time of writing the Second Amendment, had looked at Switzerland and their regulated militia, and saw people that had, like, Switzerland has hella guns. Everyone there has guns, and everyone there is taught how to use their gun. And there are people that will be on the bus with their giant weapons, but they don't have the same firearms, yeah,
Right.
and don't have the same level of gun violence that we have here. It's a well-regulated militia. Now,
It's well regulated because they don't have gun violence?
no, it's well-regulated because people are taught how to use it properly.
Say it again for the fucking people in the back, please.
It's well-regulated because people are taught how to use it properly.
Thank you.
And you have a license for it. You have to go and get it renewed. You have to go have like renewal training. There's also mandatory conscription, and that's the reason why they have like the regulated militia and also conscription.
So you got to get a permission slip every now and then.
Yeah.
And show that you are capable of owning and operating a firearm.
If in the case that you are called to serve. So Switzerland, like oh my God, I'm
Everybody in
saying it so many
Switzerland
times
has
now.
a gun and is trained how to use it. I won't say gun. Everybody in Switzerland has a firearm, is issued a firearm, they are given a firearm. We can
double
find out,
check
whatever,
that one,
whatever it
yeah.
is.
Has
They're
access to,
Has access to.
like-
There's a common place where everybody can go and grab a firearm if they need it. Is trained how to use it, has to update their proficiency at it via permission slip through some government thing in case of
Invasion.
9 months. You're only allowed one. There you go.
but everybody is allowed one.
Correct. Yeah, very strict rules on who can get a gun. So I don't know what that means.
So do they have to buy them or get them or
Or is it depending type of weapon?
so maybe this was way back then
contract.
where everybody had it. I get it. I get it. So
But it's like we look
An-
at the
antique firearms don't require an acquisition permit.
Yeah.
you want to go blast somebody in the fucking head with a musket? You got it. You got an out already.
But so we're looking at like cultural regulation, right? And so when you have, and the thing around, I'm not saying take everyone's guns away. Would it be great if we pulled in Australia or Japan and that the public didn't have it? Yeah, like that would be.
Then who would have the guns? Where'd all those guns go?
Well, then now we're getting to like trust the government and everything, right? And our government is failing. But if you look at Australia or Japan, like they're doing fine. But that's like the best case scenario, right? But just the middle
The best
ground.
case scenario is all the guns is taken away
In my personal opinion, yes.
in America.
In America. Like in Australia,
Well, what
they
happened?
had one shooting.
You just said Switzerland had like, these guns in case they were invaded.
Oh, yeah.
So
But we have the world's largest military. So why does the average citizen, if we have the world's largest military and it's everywhere across the globe, why do we need weapons? And if it's the argument of like, well, in case the military turns on us, they already are.
hot take.
I mean, no. I mean, what happened with the BLM protests?
What happened?
Everyone got fucking tear gassed. And my friend, fellow live streamer, I'm really important. That's his username. I'm really important. Then his
I was gonna
tagline
say.
is, I'm really important. And then his tagline is, and so are you. He was out there for the BLM protests in LA and got fucking shot in the leg with the rubber bullets.
Okay.
And he was tear gassed. Tear gas in war is a war crime. Chemical warfare is a war crime. But somehow you're allowed to use it on your domestic population.
And that was the military that did that?
No, that was the local police force, right?
Oh.
I believe so.
So the local police force
the militarized
have
police force,
Militarized
military grade.
police force.
giving them billions of dollars for their military.
And we're
hardware.
building cop cities.
And they're using them against
civilians.
that are peacefully protesting.
exercising their First Amendment right to speech, gather, protest.
So by taking away their Second Amendment right and getting rid of all guns, that's going to make it better?
Well, you have cops can't carry guns. Like, so in Japan.
Cops can't carry guns?
Oh, yeah.
So then who's going to have the guns?
No, nobody.
You only have guns when it's necessary.
When is it necessary? Why are guns necessary?
Well, now we're getting. So, can we pull up? Because I'm using Japan as an example because so I used to be married to a Japanese man. So, like, I learned Japanese and Japanese culture and politics and stuff because that was, like, really important.
If you take away all the guns don't magically disappear. You could throw them in the ocean and everything like that. The people who want guns are still going to have guns. The people who want to commit murder are still going to commit murder.
I mean,
Whether
the
they
people
do-
that want to do drugs are still going to do drugs no matter how much you criminalize it, like what's going on in Portland.
decriminalize it, make it illegal, you're not going to take them away. There are some high-level junkies that are functional chemists that can go in your fucking cabinet and make you something that'll take you to the dead planet Mars where there's water and bacteria.
Yeah, only police and military can purchase a handgun or a rifle, while hunters and target shooters may possess shotguns and air guns under strictly conditions in Japan.
So you can have a shotgun and say it's for hunting, but if you want to shoot somebody in the knee, you could do that.
Yeah, but as it says, gun crime still exists. But
It's
As
how
long
you
as there are
use
guns,
it.
crimes will exist. As long as there are people, there will be war. If you take away all the guns, the bad guys who want to do stuff with guns are going to still find a way to get guns, are they not?
Well, we could also talk about
If you
like,
take
why
away all
is
the
war
drugs, people are going to
inevitable?
find, why is war inevitable? We started off the conversation with that.
But like, if,
Cain
would it
hit
be
Abel in the head
inevitable
with
if
a rock.
everyone's basic needs are met? If I can afford to live, feed myself, take care of my friends and family, and have my children grow up in a world where I'm not afraid of them dying to go to school, what's there to fight over? If everyone, because we can clothe everyone, we have.
What's there to fight over? Then we're really fucking opening up the thing on human psychology.
Yeah, no, but
The
that's
haves
like the
and
thing. It's like,
have-nots.
but how do you define have and have not? So I mean, like, if we look
So
at
everybody's all the same then. Your car's not better than mine. Your house isn't better than mine. Your kid didn't win a gold medal and mine didn't. Your grass is a shade greener than mine.
but then we're getting
Fuck
into
it,
the
I'm going to
conversation
take a rock
of, like,
and smash you in the head because you have and I don't. And that's fucking human nature.
But is it though?
Yes. I cannot say that
So-
definitively. I just did because maybe I'm steel manning it from my side or something like that.
I mean, we have a microphone on, so it's like, of course.
Yeah,
But like,
people are always going to be envious, jealous, to the point of physical harm, murder, killing of other people. It's been going on since the
so then
creation
why
of people.
am I not harming my competitor that's more successful than me?
Maybe it distills down to what we said earlier: empathy. You understand their perspective, their point of view, their needs, basic understanding.
And it's also, I am content and I have enough.
Do you?
I do. I can afford my rent. I don't, like, yeah, Wyatt and I are spending like almost $1,000 a month
Mm-hmm.
on groceries. I'm not concerned about it though. I don't look at our grocery bill until it's the end of the month. And I'm like, okay, we spent that much. How do we readjust our budget?
When you get that $10,000 HVAC bill that you can't pay,
Well, then I
if
go
I
and
go
be
hit
like,
Stevie with a rock and take $10,000 from him, it solves my problem.
But now we're getting to the conversation of like, at what point do people actually resort to violence? Like, my instinct isn't, I'm going to go cause harm to get what I want. Like, I don't look at what other people have and be like, oh, fuck those guys. Like, I'm going to go and like punch them in the face and take their shit because I want it. Like, that's not my first instinct. Like, no, speaking for myself. And like the people I surround myself with, like, also don't have that first instinct. My first thing is like, okay, well, like, I want to be able to buy a matcha latte every day and support my favorite coffee shop, and the fact that the matcha is supporting a family-owned farm in Uji, Japan, and I support their traditions, and I love it, and it tastes great. And I want to make sure that my favorite coffee shop is in business rather than getting eaten up by Starbucks. How do I get to the point where I can do that? And like problem solve within my tools and resources, but it's not like I'm going to go and fuck this person up and take all their money so I can do this immediately. Or, I mean, even in the case of climate, like, or like protesting, it's like my first thing isn't like guillotines. It's not like, okay, cool, like we need to go and just guillotine everyone, like French Revolution style. It's like, how do we vote in the right people? How do we have conversations? Like, I'm more leaning into like the diplomatic approach of things.
I think we've established that we don't have enough money to make sure votes get the way we want to get off.
True.
Yeah. But if we
can
end
afford matcha
lobbying-
lattes, and if we end lobbying, good luck with
Yeah,
that.
and lobbying. I mean, ending lobbying, having term limits, and also making it that, like, it would be hilarious if Vulcan government made the federal minimum wage, because then like minimum wage would change immediately.
To what?
Well, it's like $7.25.
It's making $1 million.
Sure.
Now, instead of spending $1,000 a month on groceries, you're spending $2 million on groceries.
But does it have to be that way?
No, but it will. If you
Not
push,
necessarily. I mean, because if we
it's
look
yin and
at,
yang. Yin and yang. If you push on one, the other one's going to give.
there are people that make livable wages in Sweden, and their McDonald's is cheaper than ours. Like, there are McDonald's workers in Sweden that are unionized, making like 22 to 26 an hour, and I can go and buy a Big Mac for way
Unionized.
cheaper than I would find here.
So
in
they're
America.
organized and they have a more powerful voice because they lobbied for themselves and spoke up. Like, here we are as a collective group. Is that socialism or communism?
Well, really, technically, unions aren't either
Fuck,
of those.
guys.
But it
What
is.
color do they fall in
They
on the
are.
hashtag?
Falls in blue.
It's collective action and it's collective bargaining, because you're right, that is how workers have to stand up to a corporation because we don't have the money and the dollars.
They don't have to.
On this beautiful St. Patrick's Day, I want to shout out Sean Fain and UAW auto workers. Good on you, Sean Fain. Anyway,
I don't know who that is.
I mean,
So
the
I don't
only
know if I
reason
did the
why we
right
have a
salute.
40-hour
or-
work
he's
week.
the first democratically elected president of the UAW,
Cool.
and he was an auto worker, and he's just awesome. He's so cool. Anyway,
Nice.
Is he buried next to Jimmy Hoffa?
He's not dead yet. He was at the State of
good
the
for him.
Union.
Congratulations, Sean. So, I want to reply with something.
Okay.
You said you wouldn't resort to violence over certain things like that, and you've had a certain upbringing, whatever it is. Where I come from, East Coast, Jersey, it's a different lifestyle. Still America. We're still human beings. There's still different races and everything like that. I've seen people's guts stomped out for touching somebody's food. I've seen people come to bloody blows in the middle of a work environment over a few dollars missing from a paycheck. With them having universal basic income change that? Would their upbringing change that? Would their environment change that? I don't know what would change that. What kind of culture would change that? What I did learn from that is you don't fuck with people's money, you don't fuck with people's food. That's the lesson I took from that.
So if we can feed everyone, which we can, we waste 40% of food in the United States, which is a big shame. And that's a whole discussion on like supply and rules and regulations around food. So if everyone can afford a roof over their head and everyone can afford to eat, just those two basic needs being met, like, I mean, that would dramatically impact Portland. If the houseless crisis was over because everyone can afford to eat and just have a roof over their head, Portland would be very different.
I think if it was sunny 300 days out of the year, Portland would be different
Oh,
too.
it'd be so different. Like, but it's like,
Just wait, we're getting there.
like I mean,
Our sunny season's getting longer every year.
yeah, it's also getting hotter. Like,
That's not a bad thing. It was fucking cold. Now it's 75. Oh wait, you saw climate change.
Climate change.
Okay.
I was like,
You guys were speaking in.
I'm saying-
we were
you
speaking
doing?
subtle climate change. Like,
75 degrees today. Beautiful.
yeah, I mean, no, totally beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the whole like days like this I really appreciate. And then it's kind of like when you take a bite of the forbidden apple and you're like, oh, now I know too much. And it's like, oh, I really appreciate this, but also this is like a little bit horrifying, because like, is this normal? Like if you look in the past, 50, 100 years, like is a 75, how many 75-degree days that we're getting in a row at this time of year, is this normal? And if it's not, then it's like, oh no, like, but then it's like, I'm learning how to be more present and stuff, even when there's clear signs of like the world falling apart. And it's like, so going back
What are the
to,
clear signs of the world falling apart?
like the heat dome that we had in 2021.
dome?
Oh yeah, when it reached like 120 something here. That was our first year when we moved up here.
That's a clear sign of the world being fucked up.
It's like,
I should Google that or what?
I mean, I can Google that.
like, yeah, no,
You ever been to fucking the South? It gets hot as shit there.
well, but now we're talking about like the South's climate versus the Pacific Northwest's average historical climate. So if you look at the average historical climate data for a region and compare it to today, then you can go and look at like, oh, like, is this normal based off like this region? Because like California's climate is different from Arizona's climate, is different from New York's climate, is different from Florida. Every state.
It's a
has
fucking
its own,
giant
like-
state too.
Yeah,
From the
like
north to the
Southern is
south.
different.
Yeah.
So like, the wildfires in Northern California is really abnormal.
Okay.
Like we
Because
are,
it's usually colder and wetter up there.
yeah,
I
because
don't
it's
know.
not as
Or maybe-
dry. Like it's not supposed to be
colder.
as dry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you look at like, okay, like why isn't more dry? It's like, well, yeah, global heating, and also this was something that I found really interesting that I had learned is that the Amazon rainforest, a lot of the rain that California gets and the moisture is from the Amazon rainforest, winds blowing the moisture up. So as the
Just
Amazon,
California? I think the whole fucking world benefits from the Amazon.
Oh, no, the whole
rainforest.
world
I wouldn't
benefits
know.
from the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like just moisture levels in California
Okay.
are directly like impacted by the Amazon
Who the
rainforest.
fuck's got the fucking device that measures that?
NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. There we go.
It's called NOAA, the flood guy?
NOAA. NOAA. Also, just
NOAA.
double checking. Is it 6:22? Didn't you have another podcast coming
Yep.
up?
Yeah. We're in it, though.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure, like, if you're like standing outside or something, don't want him to be like. Okay. But I'll have to head to dinner soon. But
Yeah, exactly. That's why I asked you, you know, we got
yeah,
the-
but it's but yeah, like so the more that the Amazon rainforest gets deforested, California is just going to continue to get drier and drier, and then
What
more
about all the other
fires,
places?
more like all the
We-
places.
We agreed that Amazon.
It affects everything.
Okay.
But I'm just talking like more on like a local climate level.
Okay.
Southern California's moisture, the amount of moisture that they get will continue to decrease as the Amazon rainforest continues to get deforested.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's just one of those like, I didn't know that. Like that's insane. But anyway, so Southern California's climate is different from the Pacific Northwest climate. So we could be like, oh well, yeah, like 75 in California is normal, like 75 in Washington is normal. It's like, but it's not because we're dealing with two completely different regions. So then that's when you
Yeah.
go and look at like, well, what is the historical data for the Pacific Northwest? Does 3 70-degree days in a row in March, is that normal? And if the answer is no, then we can start looking at like, well, is this a issue of global heating? Is this an issue? So all the scientists that are smarter than the science that I have studied, like get into it and figure it out and then can make the connection of like, was this influenced by global heating, climate change, or not?
So global heating equals climate change.
Yes.
What does the fucking sun do then? It heats the globe, does it not? I'm sorry. I mean,
It plays a so the basics.
this is my
of-
ignorance, just like
Oh,
distilling
no,
it down
no.
to something I can understand, perhaps.
No, you're totally fine. This is what I do on TikTok, and
Okay.
they want to ban my TikTok.
Those fuckers.
These guys, like, but so basically,
Sexist. I'm sure some girls voted for it too.
oh goodness,
I'm not
So-
sure. I'm making an assumption. Just saying.
no worries. So the basic way it works is actually, am I allowed to doodle in this?
That's what it's there for. I got markers and everything. You want highlighters? I got.
Oh no,
You can
it's
color
totally
code
fine.
shit if you want.
Actually, all right. So if we're breaking it down,
Let's pause real quick. Charlie, can you hit the pause button? Yeah. I'm gonna go just check and make sure somebody. And we're back.
okay.
Thank you for the pause. Cool. So we were getting into
Global heating.
global heating.
So, same thing as global warming. I'm just using a different term because, like, global warming, some people are like, oh, like the way that the word is used now isn't how it should be used. Like in some political
Is that called
conversations.
semantics?
Like semantics, yeah.
Call it whatever you want.
So global heating, just clarifying, same thing as global warming, just
Okay.
a better semantic term. So basically, we have Earth, and we have
Oh my goodness, she's using the markers. I knew I had it for a reason. I love it.
perfect.
Nice.
Oh, I love it. I am like such a stationary hoe. Like I have like watercolors and colored pencils and everything at home because I just love them. Okay, so we have Earth. And so like how, we were talking about Mars, it doesn't have an atmosphere, but we have an atmosphere. And it's because of the atmosphere that we are able to live here. It has things like oxygen, which is what allows us to breathe and so we can survive. It also has things like, what was it also like nitrogen?
I believe it's mostly nitrogen.
Yeah. And then we also have stuff like carbon dioxide. But the problem with carbon dioxide is that it's really good at trapping heat. And since the atmosphere is like a blanket over the Earth, if we get too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, then it keeps trapping the heat, and therefore the surface of the Earth gets hotter. And so that's global heating or global warming. It's like how much of these heat trapping particles, whether it's CO2 or even methane, which is like 28 times better at trapping heat than carbon dioxide. It's really potent. And that's...
Methane traps carbon dioxide.
Oh, no, methane traps heat.
Methane traps heat
It's
at an
better at-
exponential.
Yeah, it's
Number
better
than
at trapping
CO2. Okay,
heat
I follow.
Than carbon dioxide.
Cool.
And methane is an issue, so that's where people talk about like, oh, cow farts. Lots of methane. But also natural gas. The process of fracking releases a lot of methane as well. And so methane it's not good when you have too
Can
much
you see how much methane is in the
atmosphere.
atmosphere? The blue zone on the paper?
The blue zone of the doodle.
It's at least 3 M's. I see. Cool.
And then, of course, you have like your water particles, like there's water in the atmosphere, and that can
So H2O.
H2O.
So hydrogen
Yeah.
and oxygen.
Hydrogen and oxygen.
Right. Also ozone.
Yeah.
O3. Is that O3? Ozone.
Yeah, ozone I think is O3, right?
How many M's? So 3 M's equals
1.7 parts per million.
.00017.
You can see this part. In 2021, methane reached 1,908 parts per million, which is about 2.5 times greater than its pre-industrial levels.
When was pre-industrial levels?
Pre-industrial means before, what was it, 1800s?
Before the war?
Before turn of the century,
Yeah.
essentially. I mean, the
Okay, well, good
Industrial
question.
Revolution
So
was mid-1800s.
we are in a very technological advanced age where we could measure down to the parts per million of cow farts in the atmosphere. In the pre-industrial area, did they have the technology to measure the amount of cow farts in the atmosphere?
Probably.
Did they have a fucking rocket ship that can get up there and even get there?
So now this is where we get to go into the geologic record and ice cores.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Right on.
So
Check
the
to
way
you.
that we figured that out
Yeah.
is there are people that literally will pull up ice cores. So like they drill super, super deep into ice, like in the Antarctic or Greenland, wherever there's like
A lot
deep
of fucking ice.
but old ice, like old.
How do they know how old it is?
So by carbon dating. So this is how you
Is carbon dating accurate?
yes.
Okay.
So this is how you tell like the age of like fossils and all that. So, well, now we're getting like some more semantics. There's 2 schools of thought, right? Where you have like if we're getting to like creationism and folk that believe the Earth is 4,000 years old, they would say carbon dating is not legit because they think that the Earth is only 4,000 years old.
That's the only reason I think it's not legit is because the Earth is only 4,000 years old.
Fossils are a trick of the devil.
Yes.
They were put there to fool us.
So dinosaurs were around like 3,000 years ago. Do you think people think?
No. Well, okay, yeah.
But, yeah, they think that we were around with the
There
dinosaur.
are certain people
weren't?
that believe that Noah
I
had
wasn't.
dinosaurs on the ark.
Noah had dinosaurs on the ark.
There's certain people that believe that. And there's certain people that believe that they were not on the ark and that's why they died out because they were trapped in the flood. It's different.
This is like getting into the weeds.
Or
But
here's another one. Marcellus Wallace pushed him off of that for touching that person's feet. Sorry. Or a fucking comet, a meteor. Doesn't that make sense? Like a fucking meteor hit him? I don't know. Go ahead. So, yes. So we're drilling down in Antarctica
and to get like these
to get
cores.
ice, and then they
and you
send most of it to
dating.
Japan to make fancy cocktails. They shave it for $100, and then they take carbon samples and carbon date it.
Yeah.
Right?
And so through the magic of science, they can science rules. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Very true.
They can go through and start dating this giant core of ice, and because ice is really good at holding. Like,
Everything.
dirt, yeah, everything. Like, and so you can go and pull and be like, oh, there's this amount of carbon in like the yellow section of ice, and through carbon dating, we can say, wow, that's really hard to read actually. So in the yellow, that is now black section of ice. This was pre-industrial levels, so before the Industrial Revolution, and we know that the methane that was in This was, well, we said today it's
Oops.
like 1908 more. 1,911.8 parts per million today. So to make it easy, so if they can say like, oh, it was 1, and now it's 100, and we can see that it keeps going up and up and up as the Industrial Revolution continues, and we keep putting more carbon into the atmosphere. That's how
Get this date from the pre-industrial, please. I want to put
an actual.
I want as for my personal thing, whether it was 1940, but like post-war.
It's probably going to be 1850s, but
Oh, it was like so what, like Eli Whitney cotton gin.
that's that's my interpretation. But let's see. 1750 to 1850.
1759.
So 100 years. So a blip.
I mean, that's what's called pre-industrial, but we're saying anything before 1850, we can compare to current, because there's, yeah.
So they take this giant sample way deep down, dinosaurs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They get to a point where they can measure something, and then they could narrow it down to 100 years? Science. Okay.
It's really fucking cool. I actually interviewed an ice core scientist because the startup I worked at before I moved up here, I interviewed, so I was basically doing this, but with climate scientists.
Okay.
And so I had to read a lot of like research papers, and one ice core scientist, she was talking about, it was measuring methane. This was like 5 years ago. So, and I did over 80 episodes, so it's all kind of mush. But just how exciting she was talking about like ice cores and how fucking cool it is. I'm like, I am so amped for everything that you're doing. And this is just basically magic. Like, this is witchcraft. It's amazing in all the best of ways. But yeah, so there's that. And there's also soil sampling. So you can go and look at, how the Grand Canyon, you see like all the different layers. And if you go and carbon date them, you can see like how old they are. And like when you pull fossils, you can go and date the fossil and also the area where it was found, like dirt, so like a dirt core. And you can also test that. And so like with global heating, it's looking at like, okay, we have now this much stuff in the atmosphere. It's really good at trapping heat. And we know that all this extra stuff is because of us, because of our coal plants and our fracking for natural gas and all like the carbon and methane and aerosol emissions were dissolving the ozone. Then we fixed that by passing regulations. Now the ozone has repaired itself, which is like amazing.
Because of aerosol? Like hairspray and shit?
Yeah, it was a certain type of, which one was it? There were a couple like things in aerosols that were depleting the ozone layer. And so we were like, we need to pass, it wasn't Rio where they passed it. Chlorofluorocarbons.
Oh, like styrofoam and shit, right?
I don't know if chlorofluorocarbons are styrofoam.
Yeah, CFCs, I believe that's styrofoam and shit, right?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, chlorofluorocarbon.
So we passed like international legislation on regulation of chlorofluorocarbons to repair the ozone layer because they were
Internationally, so not globally, but
internationally, meaning globally.
Meaning globally, okay.
Yeah, so sweeping global legislation
Okay.
to regulate chlorofluorocarbons.
they agreed on something.
They agreed.
Just like the Paris Climate Accords.
Oh, I love the Paris Climate Accords and how the United States wanted to go and pull out of it. And then we got back in, and then if a certain person wins in, we're probably going to pull out of that, and also NATO.
My sarcasm
Like-
thing is going off.
Yes.
That was sarcasm,
I need
yes?
a little sarcasm flag.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been several of these kind of attempts at sweeping regulation and the Paris Climate Accords. We said, hey, yeah, we're all in it, and we're going to try and reduce our emissions by this amount by this time. Then Donald Trump was elected, pulled us out of that agreement, said we're not doing that, bad deal, not doing it. Biden got elected, we went back
And
into
we're back
it,
into it.
but we're already past that checkpoint. I think that they were going to. So it's like we're in it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're in it, but it doesn't matter now, so they're not going to do it?
Well, we're still trying to do it. It's just the fact that a country can just opt out is the problem, right? Where like there's like with
Why
a
don't
lot of
everybody just say
these-
go fuck yourself and do it themselves?
Well, then Brazil's going to chop down the Amazon rainforest, and that affects California, and that affects the world.
Wait a second. If the United States pulls out, the rest of the world.
Oh no! I was commenting on. So I thought you meant like, well, what if everyone just decides to like fix it themselves? And it's like, well, there are
No,
countries
no,
that
this
don't want to.
Paris Climate Accord. So everybody's in for it. Everybody says yes, but the United States says no, we're not in it. Why don't everybody just say fuck you? I'll do it myself. We'll do it ourselves and pass a sweeping thing.
Well, I mean, that's basically what the European Union's done. Like they're
Good for them.
But
Good.
the reality is we're all on this together.
Agreed.
And so it's like, yeah, the EU can make all these changes and it will make a difference. But if the United
Good.
States is still pumping all the methane and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it reduces, like, it makes the transition to a greener, more sustainable future a lot slower.
Is the United States responsible for? They can't be responsible for all of it. Not all the humans live here. Is the United States? How much of the bad stuff is the United States responsible for?
I think we actually have a number for that one.
Oh,
U.S. military is the world's largest institutional user of petroleum, largest institutional producer of greenhouse gases. So the U.S. is the largest polluter in the world.
specifically the
Military, but that's
the
one-
U.S. military.
That's the largest employer in the world, next to Walmart. And then, yes, obviously other countries have their own parts to play. But are other countries having massive militaries go to every country in the world? Not necessarily. No, in fact.
Let's do a top 10 list. Is there a top 10 pollutant people? I mean, we could probably.
Sorry, we're making you work so hard today, Charlie.
I know. Charlie got paid in cookies and other stuff.
That was last week.
Sorry, you got paid in a bagel sandwich.
That's true. Okay. Worth it.
Bagel sandwich.
Artisanal gold mining. What?
Oh,
I don't
Because
believe
we
that.
need to do probably
mining for
countries.
gold is a big fucking one. What do we need gold for?
Every computer
Semiconductor.
device.
I mean,
Huh.
you need it for your phone, for your computer.
I don't need it for mine.
everything.
I mean, it helps it work, but. What else? Well, these are the biggest ones.
This is according to Scientific American, the top 10 pollution problems.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't trust
Scientific
this
American.
list.
No, we want like
So you wanna
like so
write,
we,
top
like America
10
American military type
countries,
thing. Yeah.
like-
Like, is it the concrete factories in fucking India? Is it the iPhone plant in fucking China? Like who? Like U.S. military #1. We get that. Who else? Is it like the first thing you said was or came to was Brazil chopping down the rainforest? Brazil's fucking huge in South. It's a big part of that country. Is it them? You know.
Oh no! So when I brought up Brazil, because I thought what you had said is like, oh well, why not just let everyone like say, well, we'll figure it out on our own. It's like, well, there are some countries that don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like Jair Bolsonaro, when he was president of Brazil, was like totally for
Did he get,
Millennium.
Russell?
he?
I don't know.
No.
I know he's no longer president,
Same thing now.
but like, but you know, you
He's
have
no
some
longer
people-
president.
It's got bangs now.
But you have some. He supported like deforestation, and it's like, well,
He supported deforestation.
yes,
Huh?
yeah.
That don't sound real nice.
And so like if the deforestation of Brazil affects California, it doesn't really make sense to say, well, let every country like go at it on their own, because like what Brazil is doing is affecting the United States.
It's going to affect it globally, though.
Yeah, and affect the globe. So it's like we need global policy that people have to abide to. But the issue with the Paris Agreement is that there was nothing that was like really legally binding. It was more like a lot of these things, and we can also make this argument about the United Nations, is like a lot of it isn't really legally binding. It's like, hey, it'd be nice if, oh, we all agreed on this thing, let's like do it. But like if you fail, you're not like getting
You get a participation medal?
yeah, like you're not getting sanctioned for failing. You're not getting like there's no actual repercussions of if you don't meet the standards that you agreed to. And that's like the issue of this. It's like it looks nice on paper, but there's no way to actually make it happen. And that's kind of like frustrating because it's like, you know, we know that this is a problem. We have all the ways to address it right now without inventing new technology. Project Drawdown is actually a really great resource. They have like a list of over 100 climate solutions. And it's like, here's everything we can do that doesn't require new technology. And here's like all the money, like how much it will cost and how much it will save. All we have to do is do it. All that's missing is a political will to do it. And so like being a climate activist in the United States is a little bit frustrating because it's like we have this giant thing that is happening, and then we can also look at, healthcare and like gun violence and all these things. We have like all these things that are so important, but the only thing we can agree on is banning TikTok.
I mean, I think we can agree on other stuff. You made I wrote it down, political will.
Mm-hmm.
So the will of the politicians.
Yeah, like the will to pass, policy that will address these problems. It's like we don't have the political will.
Does it matter if it is the will of the politicians?
Well, since they're the ones that pass the laws, yes.
And they are NASCAR sponsored by Coke and Heritage. So what does Coke and Heritage believe? Because that's what you're going to get, right?
Well, now we can get into Project 2025, sponsored
Oh.
by the Heritage Foundation.
Boy.
But that'll be another 3 hours.
Okay. I'm going to write that one down and put a pin in it.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much. I love this.
No, like this is so like going all the way back to the beginning, social responsibility being my niche in social media for my company. And also being a climate science communicator, being aware of politics and what's going on is just a part of my business. And especially with it being an election year, right? It's like how we use social media for the benefit of the people and also like the benefit of just like everyone.
Social media for good.
Social media
I
for
like
good.
that distillation of it. I think it's good.
And just making sure that, although that's actually like
How do you define
social,
good?
like social media for good. Funnily enough, that's the tagline of one of my competitors. So it's like not sponsored.
Lacey?
Lacey.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like sorry, Lacey. like didn't mean it.
Community over competition.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Representation. Yes. It's I didn't want to like start name dropping people just because like podcasts, but yeah, Lacey's amazing though. And I love
I think she was one of the first 5 people I invited.
nice.
Yeah, somebody got sick or something, she couldn't make it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, like she's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so social media for good, right? That's like again, surprise tagline. Check them out; they're cool.
Right on.
But yeah, it's one of those like how I was a League of Legends streamer, then I started talking environmental politics, and that really resonated with people. And then I started an organization because someone found me on Twitter and was like, "Hey, I love what you're doing. Like, let's do this." And now we have a community of 500 people, and we wrote an NFT guide, and now we're going to start speaking at events and doing in this gaming industry just because I made the decision to use my platform for good. And with social media, I mean, if we look back onto TikTok, like trying to connect all the loose threads, like people are coming together and having conversations like, hey, this company is shit. The guy, like the Kellogg's guy thinks that we should eat cereal for dinner because like we're too poor to afford groceries. Let's boycott him. Using social media to vote with our dollar for the future that we want. Using social media for good. And that's like use the tools that we have for the betterment of society. Social media doesn't have to be bad. It can be a place where you find community. I mean, I wouldn't have had friends in Sweden if Corey didn't reach out to me on Twitter. And now I'm like, oh shit, I have a community of people. They are looking forward to my partner and I moving out there. I was initially looking at the Netherlands because of the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty. It makes it a lot easier to move a business over. But like, I don't know anyone in the Netherlands.
Right on.
And so it's like, and that was just because of one Twitter DM. And now I have a community of people.
Right on.
And it's like, that's what I want to do. And that's like the base of my business. And bonus points if it pays me enough money where I can buy a matcha latte from Terrain every day.
Excellent. I think that's a great place to wrap it up. I do think we should run this back in the near future. Like you said a couple of times, he was like, oh, that's a 3-hour conversation. That's a 5-hour conversation. I think we should sit down and have a another conversation in the near future because I learned a lot here, and I could delve into even last thing I wrote down, Project 225, and we could talk about that. This was great. I didn't really know what to expect. I had only met you in passing, and a couple of people said, "Oh yeah, she's on it," and man, you're on it. Yeah.
I appreciate. I was honestly so nervous because I was like, I watched.
Did you throw up?
Oh no!
Oh, Jordan's got you beat. He threw up in the parking lot.
Wait,
before he came in.
seriously?
Was I not supposed to say that out loud?
Wait, like Jordan at
Allegedly.
the farmer's market?
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan!
That's what I said. That's exactly how I said it to him. Jordan, you got throwed up all over yourself.
And it was one of our best episodes too. Like,
Yeah.
he's so. Let me just say, I think the best people we have on here, and it's been pretty much everybody, are people who are passionate about something. So
Yeah.
I think that's always the best episodes.
And Jordan's such a wholesome person.
Yeah.
Like every time I talk with him, and I mean it's usually in passing because like when I go to the farmers market to do my job, it's like, oh, how's it going? How's it going? Then every now and then we get to like chat for like 5 minutes. I'm like, you're just an amazing human. Like, oh my gosh, we need more of you.
That's all the conversations I had with him in 7 years has just been in passing. Here and there, we've had some deeper stuff, but I never sat down and say, hey, let's chop it up. And we did 3 hours, split it into 2 episodes, and it was great. And
Nice.
there's plans to have him and another farmer come in so we can get all different perspectives in there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I thought this was great too, and I think we can go on for more and more. So I'm going to put you on the callback list, and we'll do it again if you're down.
Yeah, I'm down. No, this is great.
Cool.
And definitely like, it's nice to just ramble about stuff.
I don't know if you're rambling. I mean, there was straight facts coming, yeah?
I don't know. I mean, it feels like rambling, but again, this is kind of like because I graduated at the start of the pandemic, so like thankfully I didn't have to finish college in the well, my last year, May 2020, so like the half of my
Yeah, a little bit.
like
yeah.
senior like last senior semester, so I graduated May 2020. So I started work fully remote, like learned how to try to be an adult in a fully like weird fucking pandemic. Everything's busted online type of world, and so now like peopling like in person, it's like wait, like there's some moments where I'm like, am I being a bit too much right now? Like I don't know, like this is normal, because I've had like conversations with some people before where they're like,
Being too much? What do you mean?
how would I describe being too much? Like, I don't know, like the feeling like, oh no, I totally overshared, and now that person's gonna think I'm like being really weird, or like,
Fuck them.
oh, like probably easier said than done.
Okay.
Or no, it's like yes, you
Be
are
your
totally
authentic
right.
self. Don't shrink yourself for nobody. If you take up the whole fucking room, take up the whole room. Or don't. I'm not in charge. I'm just saying.
No, like the face is just like, like yes, like you are correct. It's like the whole what's the word I'm looking for? It's like deprogramming almost of like, especially like
You have been programmed.
I have been programmed. You are a woman. You cannot take up space or have opinions.
Fuck that.
You cannot read books. It's like Gaston. Have you seen like the original Beauty and the Beast?
No.
Oh, okay. So great Disney movie. But there's one line from Gaston where like, Belle was like reading her book and he's like, what's the exact quote? He's like, women can't read books, so they'll start thinking and have thoughts and like just this whole.
She should have kicked him right in the balls.
Oh yeah, no, she didn't end up she ended up with a way better man, so it worked out.
Congrats. Good for her.
yeah.
Great story. I like it already.
Yes.
5 stars.
She-
Would
She
recommend.
ended up with the royalty. The
Yeah.
man with the castle.
Oh, she went up? Oh, good for her. Even
Yeah,
better.
moved up the social chain.
Well,
But no, there's some like, past like bullying and things I've heard and shitty relationships and all that where it's like, oh, like you're too much. And it's like, well, what do you mean by too much? And it's like, I'm either like too passionate. Am I too passionate? And do I talk too much? Do I talk about myself too much? Is it the way I look? Is it the way I don't know. You never get an answer, right?
I'll give you an answer right now.
Okay.
It is all of those things. And that makes you you. Don't shrink yourself for nobody.
I will do my best.
I'm not in charge. Do what you got to do.
Is that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was great. Good?
What you see is getting, my baby. It's what you get.